Very soon, the 2004 World Series will begin. And just when you thought you knew who would be playing in this World Series, think again. Tonight, two storied franchises will take to the field of Fenway after both teams endured 7 grueling games each to get here. It had been written so many times that no team could come back from an insurmountable 3 games down and win a 7-game series, but assume nothing in this fabled time of fall. Boston could win 1 or maybe 2.
Ortiz into deep right field. Back is Sheffield. We'll see you later tonight.
But 4 in a row? Impossible.
And they will continue to dream on, thinking that this may be the year 2004.
But the improbable became reality when the Red Sox rewrote history and defeated their bitter rivals in their own Bronx backyard in an epic comeback that was believed to only happen in fairy tales. And the National League, it was just as magical, with 2 straight games being decided with the sudden impact of the so-called walk-off home run. Boston believed it could, and they did, with the faith of their faithful. And just maybe, they reversed the curse as the Babe stepped aside for A-Rod. Could it be true? Only time will tell. Would Roger return to Fenway? No, the Cardinals would not be denied. This World Series will be a sea of red, full of tradition of series past. Stan the Man, Teddy Ballgame, Bob Gibson, Yaz. And now they are joined by Albert Pujols and David Ortiz. So, it's white knuckle time for the Cardinals and the Red Sox. Sure sounds like a fable, but remember, you can believe in fairy tales, but you can never, ever script October. The World Series is next on Fox.
Oh, the simple mixture of Red Sox and October, absolutely explosive. 86 years of tainted history, and now this, an improbable journey to erase the past, enters the final leg here at the haunted, hallowed grounds. An end to the misery may be in the cards, but it won't be easy. This deck is stacked. The world witnessed 6 months of St. Louis dominance. Of course, the next 7 games will define their legacy. Hi, everyone. I'm Jeannie Zalasko, my friend Kevin Kennedy. Great crowd here at Fenway. We got the drop kick. Murphy's firing them up there in center field. Yes, we are at Fenway Park. Believe it.
It had to happen sometime.
Yes,
this ball
sir.
club deserved it. More than that, the fans deserve it. Both of these ball clubs, St. Louis Cardinals, Boston Red Sox, some of the greatest fans in Major League Baseball. And I think what you're going to see tonight, especially the elements in Fenway Park, are going to come into play. You got to know how to play that 37-foot green monster wall. The angles out there are very tough. If you don't know how to play out there, you can turn singles into doubles, doubles into triples. Same thing down the right field line with the pesky pole. That thing can camera around there like a pinball machine. You can turn a double into a triple. Trot Nixon definitely knows how to play out there, but the Cardinals, they have guys like Jimmy Edmonds, who's been here before when he's with the Angels many, many times. And Larry Walker, of course, is a Gold Glover in his own right.
Now, you're talking about the elements. We'll get to the weather in a moment. This town has seen him start on 10 minutes notice. Long relief, set up, close, and pinch hit. But they have never seen Tim Wakefield in the Fall Classic. And you will never guess who's pleased, well, dealing with the fact that has changed.
It's sad, but again, on the other side of the coin, you know, there's a guy named Tim Wakefield going to the World Series after what he had to walk off the field with last year. So there are 2 sides to this story.
It means a lot that Joe would actually mention my name in his interview when they were packing up going home. I have a lot of respect for that man over there. I've played against him for a long time and watched him win a lot of championships over there. And for him to say something that nice about me really shows how passionate he is for not only the game, but for other players on other teams.
Tim Wakefield resurrected his career here in Boston going back to 1995, where he almost won the Cy Young Award. He's the original guy. He deserves his start. He's done every single role for these Red Sox over the years, and especially in the postseason. to get this ball club exactly where they are. I like him in a Game 1 start. His knuckleball, you're going to see him throw it about 95% of the time. Not too often you're going to see him go 2-0 with fastballs like he used to do years ago, Jeannie.
Right, and let's not overlook Woody Williams, of course, coming up, the one-hitter in the NLCS. But we did talk about the weather. It's going to be in about the low to the mid-40s. I can see you don't have the gloves on, and neither will Mr. Wakefield. How will that affect the knuckleball
I don't
coming
think
off
it'll
the
be
knuckles?
too bad with Tim Wakefield because really it's the fingertips, it's the feel of the pitch that you throw it. But control could be a factor if the wind blows too much. Right now, it's not too bad. Ideally, you like it nice and warm, but Tim Wakefield has pitched this time of year before and done well.
It's not too bad, he says. I've got gloves on. All right, I am sure post-clinching euphoria had something to do with it. But Sox CEO Larry Lucchino decided his GM deserved a big kiss for acquiring David Ortiz. No word that he actually puckered up, but Mr. Ortiz has certainly kissed a few baseballs goodbye, Kevin.
Well, and you know, he helps with the help of Ron Jackson, a hitting coach. He has gone short to the ball, and he's learned how to hit opposite field, and he really punched that left field wall in Fenway Park, and that's what you have to do. He deserved the MVP, Jeannie, and so did this guy, Albert Pujols. To me, he might be the toughest out in Major League Baseball. Most dangerous with the game on the line. He did it against Roger Clemens in Game 7. Clutch. He also deserved the MVP. You're going to see two great players that have had tremendous postseasons. Pujols, 442, 6 homers. David Ortiz, 429, 4 home runs, 15 runs driven in. Great series for both guys.
All right, Ortiz admitted the Sox' historic comeback was motivated by the sadness the team saw in their fans' faces. Both Red Sox and Cardinal fans live and die with their clubs, so we thought we would introduce you to two fans who have been through a lot. Birch joining us here in Boston, born in 1918, no less. And it's Irv with an E from St. Louis. Sir, we will get to you in a moment. Thank you so much for both being a part of this. We'll start with you, Birch. You've seen a lot with this club. As I mentioned, born in 1918. What was the biggest disappointment for you?
World War II had just ended. We had won it. World War III, as far as I was concerned, just started. The Red Sox were leading 3-1. I put a bet on the Red Sox, 10-1, and we lost World War III. The Red Sox lost 1946. Biggest disappointment.
And of course, it was the St. Louis Cardinals. They've matched up before, 46 and 1967. So, Herb, I'll ask you, being a lifelong Cardinal fan, what was your favorite moment in the World Series? Does it go back to 1967?
Yes, I go back to 1967 and 1942.
What about those moments? 67, you had a guy named Bob Gibson that was dominant. Tell us a little bit about him.
Well, Bob Gibson pitched 3 games. He pitched the first game against Santiago. He came back in the 4th game against Santiago. And then in the 7th game, he pitched against Jim Lonberg. And we in St. Louis remember something that was on the newspaper headline in Boston. Jim Lonberg and champagne, and that was all the incentive the Cardinals need to beat the Red Sox.
Bringing up some bad memories for Birch here. I'll ask you, sir, a little payback time. How do you see this series finishing up? How do you see this series finishing up?
Prediction time. Is it going to happen?
It's a foregone conclusion.
Oh, see, that's why you didn't even want to hear the question.
Years, it's going to finish up. Boston Red Sox, 4 games. The 2 for the other team.
Now, Irv, you can see the determination we have right here. How do you counter with that? Give us a prediction, Irv.
Well, once again, I say the Cardinals in 7.
Do you believe in curses, Irv?
Yes.
Yes, and what about you, Birch? You believe in curses?
What's that?
Curses. Do you believe in curses, Irv?
I always did, especially the one I made a long time ago, that the Red Sox are going to win in 19 whatever it is.
It doesn't matter. You're just looking for the win. We appreciate it, gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us.
Enjoy the game,
Birch
guys.
with the threat to you boys out here. Get it done. Do you believe in idiots? They don't look like a Major League ball club, or as Major League ball clubs are supposed to look in this era of the well-dressed athlete. Their uniforms are stained and dirty and patched and ill-fitting. They don't shave before a game. They're not afraid of anybody. The words of a journalist describing, no, not the 2004 Red Sox, but the Gas House Gang, the 1934 St. Louis Cardinals. 70 years later, the Red Sox will try to beat the Cardinals at their own game. We will see if ignorance is truly bliss.
Idiot. It's a noun. It's an ignorant person. a stupid person, a fool. I could live with that. The 2004 Sox.
Welcome back to the Dodge Pregame Show on Fox, the 100th World Series from historic Fenway Park. And now let's go to public address announcer Carl Bean.
And now, let's meet the St. Louis Cardinals starting lineup. First, the manager, Tony La Russa. Leading off, the shortstop, Edgar Renteria. Batting second, the right fielder, Larry Walker. Batting third, the first baseman, Albert Pujols. Batting fourth, the third baseman, Scott Rowland. Batting fifth, the center fielder, Jim Edmonds. Batting sixth, the designated hitter, Reggie Sanders. Batting seventh, the second baseman, Tony Womack. Batting eighth, in the bullpen, the catcher, Mike Matheny. Batting ninth, the left fielder, So Taguchi. Warming up in the bullpen, tonight's starting pitcher, Woody Williams.
The one guy went to the left.
And now the team who rewrote the history books by defying the odds and becoming the first team in Major League Baseball history to win a best-of-7 postseason series after trailing 3 games to none. Making their 10th World Series appearance, please welcome the 2004 American League champion, the Boston Red Sox. First, the Red Sox staff and coaches. The Bat Boys, Andrew Crosby and Chris Cundiff. Traveling Secretary, Jack McCormick. Clubhouse staff, Joe Cochran, Pookie Jackson, Tommy McLaughlin. Trainers, Jim Rowe, Chris Parenti, Chang Ho Lee. Coaches, Brad Mills, Ron Jackson, Lynn Jones, Dale Swain. In the bullpen, coaches, Dave Wallace, Yuki Rojas. Bullpen catcher, Dana Lavangi. Please welcome a veteran of the 1946 World Series, the one and only Johnny Pesky. A special welcome back to Tony Flanagan, Bill Hasselman, Eno Guerrero, and now the Red Sox reserves. Pokey Reese, David McCarty, Doug Mankiewicz, Ricky Gutierrez, Gabe Kapler, Kevin Youkilis, Ellis Burks, Ramiro Mendoza, Keith Folk, Curtis Laskanik, Dave Roberts, Derek Lowe, Jason Varitek, Mike Myers, Adam Heistu, Kurt Schilling, Alan Embry, Pedro Martinez, Mike Timlin, Terry Adams, Lenny Donardo, Sandy Martinez, Bronson Arroyo, we now welcome Red Sox manager Terry Kona. And here is the starting lineup for tonight. Leading off, the center fielder, Johnny Damon. Batting second, the shortstop, Orlando Cabrera. Hitting third, the left fielder, Manny Ramirez. Batting cleanup, the designated hitter, David Ortiz. first baseman, Kevin Millar. Batting sixth, the right fielder, Trot Nixon. Batting seventh, the third baseman, Bill Miller. Batting eighth in the bullpen, catcher Doug Mirabelli. Hitting ninth, the second baseman, Mark Belhorn. Pitching for the Red Sox tonight, warming up in the bullpen, Tim Wakefield. Ladies and gentlemen, your 2004 Boston Red Sox, champions of the American League. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise as we welcome the Air Force Junior ROTC of Lowell High School in Lowell, Massachusetts, who are presenting the colors tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, all of us were terribly saddened by the loss of one of our fans while she was joyously celebrating her beloved Red Sox victory Wednesday night. As we extend our deepest sympathies to her family and friends, won't you please join us in a moment of silence in memory of East Bridgewater native and Emerson College student, 21-year-old Victoria Torrey Snellgrove. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for our national anthem, which will be followed by a flyover of F-16 jets by the Green Mountain Boys, the Vermont Air National Guard. We now welcome the rock and roll legend whose spirit and energy are as strong today as when he started performing 30 years ago with his band Aerosmith. Here to present the Star-Spangled Banner, please welcome Boston's own Steven Tyler.
Where, oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hail as the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare and bombs bursting in air get proof through the night that our flame was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled
been such a long time for fans of the Boston Red Sox and fans of the St. Louis Cardinals to enjoy the Fall Classic. And we hope you enjoy this Fall Classic. Tonight on Fox, we begin the Boston Red Sox, the St. Louis Cardinals. That's got a nice ring to it. The fans are ready to pack into Fenway. They're here ready to roll. And so are we. The American League champion Boston Red Sox taking on the champs from the National League, the St. Louis Cardinals. And now welcome to the broadcast booth, everybody. I'm Joe Buck. Tim in just a second. Well, did you like the LCS play? We certainly did. The National League Championship Series, fantastic, with the Cardinals outlasting the Houston Astros. It took 7 games. They're here. The Boston Red Sox made history by coming back down 3 games to none to not only beat the Yankees, but to win the final 2 games at Yankee Stadium. And Tim McCarver, you look at this matchup, so many people thought that this would be an exciting matchup. We'll wait and see, but it is definitely an old school type matchup with Boston and St. Louis.
Well, it's so impressive, not only that these 2 teams are here, but how they got here. As you mentioned, the Cardinals winning their last 2 games against the Houston Astros in St. Louis to be here in Boston. And the Red Sox, in historical fashion, beating the vaunted New York Yankees. Think about how confident both these teams are starting the World Series, realizing that if they get down, they can come back.
2 teams that are red hot. What do we expect? We expect to see a lot of offense, and we'll wait and see which bullpen can hang on to and nail down wins. Oh, one other thing. They're ready to go in Fenway, and they will be ready to go in Busch Stadium. 2 of the most emotionally charged fan bases in all of sports set to do battle in this year's World Series. World Series Fox is brought to you by You can take life as it comes. You can grab life by the horns. Dodge. By State Farm, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. By DHL, we move the world. And by IBM, making on-demand business a reality for companies around the world. It is chilly, man. It is cold. The wind is whipping around. 49 degrees. And for more on tonight's weather and this knuckleballer, let's go down to Chris Myers.
Thanks, Joe. Currently 49 degrees here down on the field. Rain will not be a factor, but the wind and the cold will be tonight, especially for knuckleballer Tim Wakefield. His catcher, Doug Mirabelli, telling me this evening that it's best for the knuckleball with the wind blowing in the pitcher's face. That's not the case tonight. It's blowing from his back about 15 to 20 miles per hour. Now, the temperature could dip into the 30s with the wind chill factor as the evening wears on. So more than the grip, the feel for the ball may be a problem for Wakefield. So the best thing for him to do is sweat. That's right, sweat. Moisture will give him more of a grip and make him more effective when he throws the knuckleball. You always hear, hey, don't sweat the little things, but for Tim Wakefield, he wants to sweat, and this is a big thing.
All right, Chris, thanks for the report. Good luck sweating on a night like this. His regular season, 30 starts, the record of 12-10, and as big a part of the ALCS victory for the Red Sox as just about anybody else you can pick out of that bullpen for Boston.
Well, what Tim Wakefield and the Red Sox would like would be a swirling wind. Early strike's very important because if he doesn't throw the knuckleball over early, then he's got to resort to the curveball and look for the Cardinals to run. And that wind whipping in from center field. As Terry Francona told us before the game, if the wind is at the back of Tim Wakefield, there could be a lot of pass balls.
Baseball fans, grab a cold, fresh Budweiser. It's game time. And pitch number 1 of this 2004 World Series is about to come toward Edgar Renteria, with Larry Walker batting second, Pujols hitting third. And it's this matchup of Wakefield and Woody Williams here in game 1. For Tim Wakefield, his 10th year with the Boston Red Sox. More than willing to do anything it took to get Boston into this position, and he gets the ball in game 1. Strike 1. Renteria hit .287 during the regular season, 10 home runs. It's 0-2. So far for Renteria, .257 average in the postseason, 6 RBIs. And for Game 7 of the NLCS, and maybe not just tonight in the World Series, Renteria is up in the leadoff spot. Place held usually by Tony Womack. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Packed in that dugout. A lot of extra players that are on the trip with St. Louis. Renteria strikes out, and a good start for Wakefield tonight. Once again, tonight's starting lineup for the St. Louis Cardinals brought to you by Citibank. You know Renteria, now it's Larry Walker in the number 2 spot. Albert Pujols, the NLCS MVP, then Scott Rowland. Jim Edmonds in center, Reggie Sanders the DH, Tony Womack batting 7th, Mike Matheny. So Taguchi is in left field batting in the number 9 spot. Here's Larry Walker. If anybody should feel comfortable playing baseball in this weather, it's Larry Walker. From Maple Ridge, British Columbia. 16th season in the big leagues and finally in the World Series. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Larry, a big hockey fan. And speaking of hockey, Mike Eruzione, the captain of the 1980 Team USA that beat Russia and Finland to win the gold medal, sent the Boston Red Sox some miracle t-shirts, obviously referring to the miracle comeback of the Red Sox over the Yankees, winning 4 in a row.
Here's a 2-1 to Walker on the inside corner, 2-2.
That was a fastball, the first fastball thrown.
Walker just gets a piece. In fact, we've seen Wakefield plenty already in the ALCS, and I'm sure you could count the number of fastballs that he threw to the Yankees on one hand.
Yeah, most of the time to the Yankees, he relied on the curveball, and he had to throw something other than the knuckler.
Walker waits on it and fouls it out of play. So the count's still 2-2. These two teams have met a couple of times in the World Series, in '46 and in '67. And you look at the postseason career for Tim Wakefield. 5-1 in LCS play. The 1 loss, Game 7 of last year's ALCS. Walker got a good rip. It's still 2-2. Tony La Russa in his 9th season with the St. Louis Cardinals. And for La Russa, his 4th World Series appearance since he's been with St. Louis, his 1st. The 2-2 to Walker. Just missed, full count.
It's the one thing you don't usually see. Batters taking a called 3rd strike on a knuckleball. They're very anxious, and more often than not, they swing at bad balls like that one.
And the count stays full. How odd is it to see these two teams tonight in Game 1 of the World Series after both were involved in must-win situations where entire series and seasons were riding from time to time on one pitch or one play. Walker hits it down the right field line. That ball is fair and into the corner. Larry Walker will dig for 2 and make it to second with a 1-out double.
That ball short hopping the right field fence. Before the game, Kevin Kennedy alluding to the fact that right field, with its nook and cranny, actually tougher to play than the Green Monster, say some right fielders. Larry Walker certainly will know that when he defends. That was well played by Trot Nixon to hold Walker to a double.
And now it's Albert Pujols. What a regular season, what a postseason Pujols has had. Hit .500 in the NLCS and was the MVP for St. Louis. He got the game-tying double against Roger Clemens in Game 7 and scored the winning run on Rowland's home run, with the Cardinals hanging on to defeat Houston. Walker at second, one out. Pujols takes ball 2, 2-0. We talked to Tony La Russa before the game and asked him if they had any clues as to try to hit a knuckleballer like Tim Wakefield. He said, well, we've got a couple of things, but we'll wait for about 10 days before we reveal them. Pujols 2-1.
The one thing that you must do, whether you're catching the butterfly or hitting it, is to wait as long as you possibly can. Wait, wait, wait. Doug Mirabelli has to wait. Albert Pujols has to wait. And the home plate umpire, Ed Montague, has to wait to call it.
Pujols pops it up. It's a big out for Wakefield as Belhorn takes it in, 2 out. Let's look at how Boston covers the field with tonight's Red Sox defense, brought to you by State Farm. This is a team that has committed only 2 errors in the entire postseason. One in the ALCS that belonged to Manny Ramirez in left, and there are no surprises, especially behind the plate with Wakefield on the mound. It is Mirabelli. 2 out, runner at second, Walker, and here's Scott Rowland. Popped up left side. Bill Miller. Inning over. Wakefield works a scoreless first. Red Sox coming up. Couple of 38-year-olds hooking up here in game 1. Wakefield, and now Woody Williams for the Cardinals, who has been fantastic since Walt Jocketty acquired him on August 2nd, 2001. Since that time, Tim, an ERA of 3.53, 5th best in the National League, and he's been good so far this postseason.
He started and won the LDS, and he started and won the LCS against Houston for St. Louis.
And now the WS?
And now the WS.
First pitch is up and away, ball 1 to Johnny Damon. Wakefield got around the Walker double. Damon takes it on the outside corner, 1-1. You know the story with Johnny Damon. Could not find his swing at all in the ALCS until, conveniently for the Red Sox, Game 7. Strike 2 on Damon.
Take a look at the scouting report on Woody Williams. A combination of power and finesse. That's unusual. Actually, left-handed batters didn't do nearly as well as right-handers. And that strikeout with 2 strikes like right now inside, and that's what he was trying to do.
2-2.
There's that tailing fastball like Greg Maddux, who has mastered that pitch with 2 strikes. Maddux, another fine year with the Chicago Cubs.
Damon out in front, pulls it foul. Saw the numbers, the 3 hits, the 2 home runs in Game 7 of the ALCS at Yankee Stadium. A grand slam, then a 2-run shot. Behind the tremendous pitching of Derek Lowe, the Red Sox took care of New York. Here they are in the World Series. That missed the inside corner, full count. For Woody Williams, he makes his 6th career postseason start. 3-1 overall, 2-0 this year. From Houston, Texas, he brings it, and Damon spoils it. This is more of Johnny Damon than what we saw in the first 6 games of the ALCS. Battling, trying to work a walk, trying to get on base any way he can for the Red Sox.
Game 2 at Yankee Stadium when he had the 16-pitch at bat in the 6th inning against John Lieber.
Damon rips it foul. Tenth pitch of this at bat to start the night coming here. bat down the left field line, and Damon will dig for two. Taguchi gets to it. It's a leadoff double for Johnny Damon.
An exquisite at bat by Johnny Damon. 92 strike hits, led the major leagues. No one protects the plate like Damon. Fastball away, he hits it away for a double to start it off for the Red Sox.
Now it's Orlando Cabrera. Dave Roberts is already pumped up. Dave Roberts may have traveled the most important 90 feet of the ALCS for the Boston Red Sox. Cabrera up there to bunt, and it's foul. This Boston Red Sox team, that is so rare. Only 12 sacrifice bunts the entire season. That's the second lowest total in the history of Major League Baseball. It's just not something that Terry Francona and the Red Sox like to do.
Well, Cabrera coming over on the trading deadline on the 31st of July, and he gave the Red Sox another option. He's an excellent bunter.
Showing it again, he takes strike two.
But that is highly unusual to see the Red Sox bunting, particularly in the first inning. Sometimes you'll sacrifice the first 2 or 3 pitches, lure the pitcher into the strike zone so you can get a fastball to hit hard the other way. We'll see if he changes here.
Woody Williams needs a strikeout. Abandoning the bunt, and that's ball one.
What Cabrera has done with the bunt attempt, he's moved Albert Pujols in, Pujols on the ground, and now Albert moving back. It's that cat and mouse game. You hear about it with the pitcher and the hitter, rarely between the first baseman and the hitter.
Cabrera's hit, and that caught him, looked like up around the face.
I think it may have hit 2 spots, Joe. Perhaps the left shoulder and then the helmet. I don't know.
Another look.
Everybody booing here, but that's the last thing that Woody Williams wanted to do. It did hit him on the tip of the left shoulder.
May have caught him on the jaw on the way by.
May have.
So it's a double, a hit batsman. And once again, we give you tonight's starting lineup for the Red Sox, brought to you by Citibank. Damon, he's doubled. Cabrera's hit by the pitch. Now it's Manny Ramirez and David Ortiz. Millar, Nixon, Miller, Mirabelli, and Belhorn.
Woody Williams trying to come inside. And here Cabrera trying to sacrifice, failed to do so. So instead of a runner on at third and 1 out, the Red Sox with runners on at first and second and nobody out.
And the dangerous Manny Ramirez at the plate. Ramirez did not drive in a run in the ALCS. Tony La Russa trying to position this defense. Brings the right side of the infield in a couple of steps. Ramirez takes ball one. In his career, Ramirez just a .246 career hitter in the postseason. .2-0 from Woody Williams.
To give you an idea about how balanced this Red Sox ball club is, they win the LCS against the New York Yankees without Pedro Martinez winning a game, and without Manny Ramirez driving in a run.
And it took the entire 25-man roster for Terry Francona to figure out a way night after night to win 4 games against New York. The 2-0 pitch is popped down the right field line. Walker into the corner, going to get it. Long run, nice play. And the runner at second, Damon, will go to third. It's first and third, 1 out. Larry Walker covered a ton of ground.
Because he was playing Manny Ramirez into right center field. A Gold Glover. Now he has the fence with which to cope. He makes a quasi-basket catch. Slams into the wall and holds Cabrera to first base. Damon properly a third of the way. Goes back to tag up and goes to third easily. Nice play as Larry Walker is tested with the nooks and cranny of right here at Fenway.
7-time Gold Glove Award winner sets up first and third, 1 out for Senor Octubre. As they're calling him here now in Boston. The MVP of the ALCS takes ball 1. Hit .387, 3 homers, 11 RBIs against the Yankees, and those were his numbers overall in the postseason. One clutch hit after another for the Red Sox. Down the right field line, into the corner. It is fair and a 3-run home run. Ortiz has done it again. One into deep left field. Back at the monster. It is off the green monster. Taguchi plays it well, but it's a double for Millar. Ortiz wasn't even in the dugout by the time Millar was sliding into second.
Looked like a slider to David Ortiz over the foul pole. My goodness, what a blast. Down and in. Oh.
We take a look at it down the line. Clearly a fair ball. Then the double by Millar, and now Nixon takes a ball inside.
Actually, that ball was to the left of the foul pole, but had it been on line, it would have been over the foul pole. My goodness.
Here's a 1-0. Nixon pops it into right. Walker back. 2 out. Walker throws toward third, and Rolen almost lost it in the lights. As Millar tags and goes to third, 2 down. Take a look at how St. Louis covers the field with tonight's Cardinal defense, brought to you by State Farm. Taguchi gets the start in left. Reggie Sanders is the DH for Tony La Russa. Edmonds and Walker. Edmonds has had a lot of opportunities in center field at Fenway Park. Rolen, Renteria, Womack, Pujols, with Matheny catching Woody Williams. And here is St. Louis and Bill Miller. From DeSmet High School in St. Louis. Lifelong Cardinal fan, and now a guy who last year won a batting title for the Boston Red Sox. has come up with some key hits over the last couple of seasons for Boston. No hit bigger than his Game 4 ninth inning tying base knock up the middle off Mariano Rivera. That set the wheels in motion. The Red Sox never looked back. The 1-1. Miller grounds it fair past third. It's 4-0. Millard comes in to score as Bill Miller knocks in his second run of the postseason.
Last year's American League batting champion. Another slider from Woody Williams just inside the bag at third base. Plates the fourth Red Sox run here in the first inning.
So the inning continues for Doug Mirabelli, the number 8 hitter. Strike one. Eddie Montague is tonight's home plate umpire. He's the crew chief. Called strike one on that first pitch to Mirabelli. Good start for Boston. Oh, 0-2. Mirabelli lost his bat on that swing. Woody Williams, an 11-game winner during the regular season. He won 8 of his last 11 starts. Came into this World Series start holding opponents in the postseason under a 200 average. But the Red Sox have popped him here in the first. Mirabelli strikes out. But Boston comes up with 4. Another home run by Ortiz. Thank you, Theo, a reference to Theo Epstein, the general manager of the Red Sox, as Edmonds bunts. And what a good play, and why not? Bill Miller is way over in the shortstop position. The third baseline was wide open, and Edmonds said, if you're going to give me a hit, I'll take it.
Absolutely. He almost squares around here. If it was bunted harder, it might have been a double.
Number 16,
You see that shift so often. And I think just about every baseball fan, intense fan or casual fan, sometimes wonders, why don't they just drop one down that line and take a hit? Jim Edmonds, with his team down by 4 in the second inning, did just that. And here's Reggie Sanders, tonight's DH for Tony La Russa. Sanders takes a strike. The Red Sox 6-0 this postseason when they score first. And they got 4 runs in the first inning, highlighted by the home run by Ortiz. Started to talk about that sign. Said, thank you, Theo, and that was in reference to Theo Epstein bringing David Ortiz to the Boston Red Sox after he was cut loose by the Minnesota Twins, and the Twins got rid of him because he didn't have enough power. He was more of a line drive type hitter, so the Red Sox picked him up. He had a great year last year, even better this year, and the Red Sox have locked them into a long-term deal. Here's an 0-2. Sanders takes ball 1.
We were talking about it in Game 7 of the ALCS. David Ortiz may be the best bargain in Major League Baseball. Making a little over $4 million a year. Not chump change now, don't get me wrong, but still a pretty good deal on today's market.
It was 0-2, now it's 2-2. There's Theo Epstein, the 30-year-old general manager of the Boston Red Sox. The guy on the mound is 38, Tim Wakefield, who made his Major League debut in 1992 at Three Rivers Stadium for the Pirates against the St. Louis Cardinals. Pitched a complete game 3-2 win. In October of '92, he won 2 games in the LCS. That's foul. The Red Sox picked him up well before Theo Epstein. Signed with Boston in '95 as a minor league free agent. And he has done a little bit of everything so far in his Red Sox career. Started long relief, set up relief, and even closed for a short time. That pitch in the dirt. Edmonds had wandered too far and is able to get back.
What a play by Doug Mirabelli. My gosh. That about a 56-foot knuckleball. Watch him come up with this ball. He smothers it. Edmonds saying, ball in the dirt, I'm running. Uh-oh, put on the brakes. He would have been out at second base. Fine play by Mirabelli.
Sanders with a full count gets back in. Sanders hits it foul, just foul down the third baseline.
Jim Edmonds was not running on that 3-2 pitch. Not a good running situation. You're trailing by 4. You have Reggie Sanders, who strikes out a lot at the plate. And Wakefield can strike out anybody.
The Cardinals will run when they get the opportunity, however, against Wakefield. After the bunt hit, a walk to Sanders. The Cardinals are getting something going in the second. Here's Tim Wakefield, his 10th year in Boston. Happy to help bring the World Series to Fenway.
It's going to be the coolest feeling ever. After playing here for 10 years and being in some postseason stuff, to be able to bring a World Series to the city of Boston for the first time since 1986, got to say a lot for this organization and a lot for the city. I mean, the fans have been supportive of our team, or the teams that I've been on for the past 10 years, and just to be able to bring a World Series to them means a lot to me personally, and a lot to the organization and to the city.
Womack showing bunt, takes the ball up and away as he pulls Bill Miller in at third. Millar is charging from first with Matheny on deck, and then the number 9 man, So Taguchi. Cardinals trying to jump right back in it, down 4-0. One ball, one strike.
Tony Womack's natural stroke is down the third baseline. So he can hit the ball with authority, so it makes sense to bring the third baseman in. And when you do, and you're the hitter like Tony Womack, you try to slap it by the third baseman.
Pulled it back late. They want an appeal. No swing, says Chuck Merriweather. He said that Womack pulled the bat back before offering at this pitch, and it was close. So the count's 2-1. See if the Cardinals stay with the bunt. And it's bunted hard enough to Miller at third. His throw, good play. Sacrifice is good, 5-4. The runners advance to second and third, 1 out.
That's not that odd a play, even though you're trailing by 4 runs. You figure if the Cardinals could drive in the 2 runs, it cuts the score in half. But extra chances that Tony Womack can get a base hit out of that. When you get the third baseman to barehand the ball, you've done what you want to do. So even though he gets a sacrifice, he was bunting for a base hit also.
Here's Matheny now, second and third, 1 out. No RBIs in the NLCS for the Cardinal catcher. 5 in the division series. He takes the ball. Everything that we have said during the regular season and in the postseason for Jason Varitek applies to some degree for Mike Matheny with the Cardinals, with the kind of leadership he provides and the job he does behind the plate. 1 ball, 1 strike. It's Mirabelli tonight, but the Red Sox feature Varitek. And there's not one pitcher on this Red Sox team that wouldn't do anything they could for Varitek, and the same can be said for the Cardinal pitchers about Mike Matheny. Here's a 1-1. Strike 2. Matheny hits it in the air to center. That's well hit. Damon is back near the track. Both runners tag, both advance, and it's 4-1. So a bunt hit, a walk, another bunt for a sacrifice, and now a sac fly. That is a National League run at its best here in Fenway Park.
A bunt by Edmonds, a walk to Reggie Sanders, a bunt by Womack, and a sacrifice fly by Mike Matheny. Both runners tagging. Reggie Sanders realizing that with the knuckleball, it's important to be on third base.
So Taguchi, strike 1. Taguchi in the lineup tonight for Tony La Russa, as much for his defense and playing left field, tough left field with the Green Monster. Playing the caroms out there, dealing with the left field corner as he is in there for his offense. Checked his swing, a ball and a strike. The designated hitter used only in the American League home ballpark. So when this series goes to St. Louis, the pitchers hit. Taguchi out of the way, 2 balls and a strike. Edgar Renteria on deck. Two on Taguchi.
Second fastball of the night thrown by Wakefield. No way do you want to get behind to Taguchi. So he surprises him with a fastball. If you're a Cardinal hitter like Taguchi, you can't be surprised when Wakefield throws a fastball.
Runner at third, 2 out. Taguchi checks his swing into a foul ball. Still 2-2. Bank of America is proud to support the Intrepid Fallen Heroes Fund, helping families of military personnel who've given their lives in the current operations in defense of our country. As the official bank of Major League Baseball, Bank of America will donate $10,000 to the fund for every home run in the World Series. They've already kicked in $10,000, compliments of David Ortiz and a first inning 3-run homer. Then a double by Millar, and he scored on an RBI hit by Miller. Here's a 2-2. Taguchi strikes out, and that's the second of the night for Wakefield. The Cardinals are on the board in the second. Belhorn, Damon, Cabrera coming up for Boston. Providing aerial coverage for tonight's broadcast is Liberty, the AmeriQuest mortgage ship. AmeriQuest Mortgage, the official mortgage company of Major League Baseball. And down below at Fenway Park with the blimp right overhead, you can hear the blimp. That droning on noise that can be heard at the ballpark and at home with all the microphones we have in use tonight at Fenway as Belhorn takes a ball inside, a ball and a strike.
You can hear the whirring.
Belhorn saved his best for last in the ALCS, along with the guy on deck, Johnny Damon. Belhorn, that huge 3-run home run in Game 6 at Yankee Stadium, and that's off the hands into left field for a hit. Taguchi gets to it, and Belhorn is on to start the second. I think the wonder about the Red Sox was how would they come back after the couple of days off, after the emotional series against the Yankees, being down 3-0, fighting all the way back, becoming the first team in Major League Baseball history to do that in the postseason, to do it against the Yankees, and at the end at Yankee Stadium, how would they come out in the World Series against the Cardinals?
I think that question's been answered.
Yeah, they've come out flying. 4 runs, 4 hits in the first, and a leadoff hit here in the second. Certainly for Terry Francona, not a question of, okay, we did that, now what? The objective for the Red Sox to win the World Series, and they're off to a good start tonight in Game 1. The 0-1 to Damon. Line drive to Renteria, 1 out. And the batter will be Cabrera.
Think about the circumstances in that first inning. After the Damon double, Cabrera was up. He tried to sacrifice on the first pitch. The ball hit fair, rolled foul. He was ultimately hit by a pitch. And after Ramirez flied to deep right, Ortiz had a home run, and then Millar with a double. Had Cabrera not been hit by a pitch, the scoring of the Red Sox would have been held down in the first inning.
1 on, 1 out. Orlando Cabrera, good rip.
You don't know that when a team's trying to sacrifice and play for 1 run. But a lot of times in looking back over early innings, you're thinking, if you're the Cardinals, I wish the sacrifice had been successful.
0-1 on Cabrera, who hit in every game of the ALCS. Breaking ball missed low, a ball and a strike. Tim Wakefield through 2 innings. He's allowed 1 run as Cabrera hits it hard into left. Taguchi is there, 2 out. We recognize the excellent season of managing the Red Sox by Terry Francona. It's brought to you by Honda Pilot. Red Sox had a 44-37 record through the first half of the season, but had a torrid 54-27 second half, finishing with 98 wins. And Terry Francona, in his first year with Boston, has guided the Red Sox into the World Series, and it's the 3rd time in the last 4 seasons a manager has led a team into the World Series in his first year. McKeon took over part of the way through last season, and Bob Brenly back in 2001 with the Diamondbacks. The first 2 successful in the World Series, as ball 1 misses low and away to Manny Ramirez. Two and 0.
Up and in, and the crowd oohing and eyeing because of Cabrera being hit by the pitch. And that went up and in to Manny Ramirez. With David Ortiz on deck, now think about it. There is no way you're trying to plunk Manny Ramirez.
2-1. There's David Ortiz, who now has 5 home runs this postseason and 18 RBIs. He finished the division series, Ortiz did, with a home run in Game 3 against Anaheim. The extra innings, 10th to win it. A walk-off home run in the 12th, a game-winning base hit in the 14th against the Yankees. And he's going to get another shot with 2 on here in the second. Manny Ramirez is on. And now David Ortiz will get saluted as he comes to the plate.
Slider and a good piece of hitting by Manny Ramirez. A lot of right-handed batters would be vulnerable to that pitch, but Ramirez, one of the truly talented hitters in baseball.
Now Dave Duncan, the pitching coach for St. Louis, will come out and remind Woody Williams of what they're trying to do with David Ortiz at the plate. You just look at the postseason numbers for Ortiz. A .442 average, 5 home runs, the 18 RBIs. He scored 11 runs, 3 game-ending hits. He got the game started in Game 7 at Yankee Stadium with a 2-run homer in the first. Started Game 1 tonight with a 3-run shot as Dan Herron gets loose for St. Louis in their bullpen. Ball 1. Belhorn and Ramirez the runners. Two and 0. Infield swung away around to the right. Three and 0.
See how loosely David Ortiz holds that left hand. Ted Williams used to say that hitters don't tighten up until contact. You hold the bat very loosely. You cradle the bat in the crook of the fingers, between the fingers and the palm of the hand.
On 3-0, Ortiz was going to let it fly if he liked it. That's ball 4. The first walk of the night by Williams, and that loads him up for Kevin Millar. .44 pitches already for Woody Williams, and Millar, who took the first pitch delivered to him in the first inning for a double, high off the green monster, digs in with the bases loaded, 2 out. Millar has hit .342 here at Fenway Park this season. Strike 1. Bases loaded, 2 out. Millar takes ball 1. The Cardinals in the third inning will have the top of their lineup: Renteria, Walker, and Pujols. Williams trying to keep it a 3-run game. The third for Rolen. He'll go to the bag and is scoreless. Long second inning for Woody Williams. Third inning now at Fenway, 4-1 Boston.
The winner takes it all. The loser standing small beside the victory. That's her destiny.
First pitch is a strike to Edgar Renteria. Third inning underway, 4-1 Boston. Just missed a chance to add to this lead. Renteria, Walker, and Pujols for St. Louis. 1 ball, 1 strike. Little ABBA for you. You like that, don't you?
I like it a lot. The winner takes it all.
Here's a 1-1 pitch. Renteria takes low.
Okay, it's first. All right, so we're thinking something here or what?
On 2-1, Renteria grounds left side. We showed you those programs, and these two teams, as I mentioned earlier, have gone head-to-head in the World Series before 1946. The Cardinals won in 7. Same in 67. Harry Burkeen was 3-0 in 46 with a 0.45 ERA. Ted Williams hit only 200 in that series. Bob Gibson 3-0 with a 1 ERA in 1967, and Yaz hit 400, and Yaz threw out the first pitch here tonight. Walker's strike 1.
Carl Yastrzemski going 0 for 4 in Game 1 of the 1967 series. And after that game, after 163 games.
That ball is down the right field line. If it's fair, it's gone. It is gone. A home run for Walker. And it's a 4-2 Boston lead in the 3rd. Walker has hit 2 knuckleballs tonight. 1 for a double and 1 for a home run. And it's a 2-run game here in the 3rd inning. Wakefield during the regular season allowed 29 home runs. That was tops on this Boston Red Sox staff, and Walker gets him here in the 3rd inning. Here's Pujols. Strike 1.
Larry Walker, acquired by the Cardinals on August 6th, had 11 home runs. And hits 1 here.
1 ball, 1 strike. Staying inside the pole down the right field line as Pujols takes in the dirt 2-1.
About in the same area that David Ortiz hit his. Not quite as far, but far enough.
That's low, 3-1. Pujols popped up his first time up. Full count. Pujols hit by the pitch, and he's on with 1 out here in the 3rd inning.
Hit with a curveball before that home run, talking about Carl Yastrzemski, who was 0 for 4 in the first game against Bob Gibson. And after 163 games, he had the grounds crew bring out the batting cage, and he took extra hitting as Cardinal players watched. And the next day, Yaz went 3 for 4 with 2 home runs and 4 runs driven in. Yes, sir. T-shirts were being sold outside Fenway 37 years ago.
That gate area out in center field is where the batting cage disappears to after BP is over. 1 on, 1 out here. Rowland got a pretty good swing. Strike 1. Scott Rowland, for much of the season, led the National League in RBIs until he tore a calf muscle and missed 16 games in September and lost his lead in the RBI race. Still finished 2nd with 124. A strike on the inside corner. It's 0-2.
Good knuckleball that stays inside to Rowland.
Renneria grounded out. Walker homered. Pujols hit by a pitch, and now Mirabelli digs it out of the dirt. I was just thinking today, you know, we saw Veritek, who's such a good catcher, struggle so much trying to catch Wakefield in the extra innings here the other night. You think about the eye-hand coordination on the part of Doug Mirabelli to be able to pick up these pitches and catch them. Really lets you know all you need to know about the kind of ability Mirabelli has behind the plate. Still 1-2.
Jason Veritek in the 13th inning of Game 5 make that 3 pass balls. No spin is good spin when it pertains to the knuckleball. When it starts rolling, that's the worst thing that can happen. Hitters pick that up very easily.
Another foul. Jason Varitek will tell you how hard it is to catch the knuckleball. And he was happy that as that inning came to a close with the go-ahead run at third base, he was able to hang on to a 3rd strike on Ruben Sierra and not let yet one more trickle away to put the Yankees on top. Another foul. Here's Varitek.
It's like snowflakes. There's no two that's the same. And it's like, sometimes it's like catching a fly with a chopstick. So, but it's fun. It's so gratifying when you catch him. He does well. And because it's so far away from an element, any element you could have grown up practicing.
That's just high to roll in 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Notice he said trying to catch a fly with a chopstick.
Yeah.
Only 1.
Right. I mean, 2 is hard enough, as Mr. Miyagi taught us many years ago, but 1. Here's a 2-2, 1 on, 1 out. Roland grounds to third. Miller. Belhorn. Inning over. An inning that features a home run by Larry Walker. Bottom of the 3rd inning, game 1 in Boston, 4-2 Red Sox. And welcome back to a ballpark that opened in 1912. Fenway Park, game 1 of the World Series. Trot Nixon first up for the Red Sox, who lead it by 2. A visit with Tony La Russa is to follow this at bat by Nixon, and then later we will visit with Terry Francona. Both managers agreeing to visit with us briefly during tonight's game. Here's a 1-0. 1 ball, 1 strike. Nixon flied out to deep right his first time up. Nixon, Miller, and Mirabelli. 6, 7, and 8 in the lineup for Boston. On the inside corner, strike 2. This Boston Red Sox team, the course of the season, scored 1 full run more per game here at Fenway Park as opposed to what they did on the road. Nixon is out, 1 down here in the bottom of the 3rd inning, and moments ago we had a chance to visit with Tony La Russa, manager of the Cardinals. We'll just talk quickly, Tony, about the 2 starters. First of all, Woody Williams had that rough first inning. What'd you see?
Well, I'm seeing him get a lot of balls up, and he had a lot of problems in the 2nd inning. That last out, he got the Miller, got the ball down. That's where he's got to pitch.
On the other side, Tim Wakefield, that knuckleball seems to be dancing from time to time. How about from the viewpoint of the dugout?
Well, I mean, he's got a lot of movement. He's got 60 pitches, so we're making him work. And, I mean, I feel good about how we're going about him. So if we can hold him down, we're going to be all right.
Tony, thanks for the time.
All right.
1 out here in the 3rd inning, and the batter is Bill Miller. Took a ball, now a strike.
1 ball that Woody Williams did not get up was the slider to David Ortiz. That ball stayed down. We have seen what David Ortiz could do to that pitch. That ball down and in. He is lethal. Here it is 1 more time. You can see Matheny setting up inside. He doesn't miss that pitch. He'll pull it foul occasionally.
1-2 the count on Bill Miller. 2-2. Up and down this Red Sox lineup. You've got one hitter after another, so much better hitting at Fenway Park this season. And overall, Bill Miller is a lifetime .333 hitter here in Boston. That just missed. It's a full count. On 3-2, Miller draws a 1-out walk. And if that is the case, and the Red Sox are so much more dangerous offensively at home than on the road, think back to the All-Star game in Houston. Home run by Manny Ramirez against Roger Clemens. Later, a home run by David Ortiz. Two members of the Red Sox, and who knew back in the middle part of July in that game in Houston that those home runs, one by Ramirez, one by Ortiz, would help get the home field advantage for the American League, and in this case, the Boston Red Sox.
That is a very interesting point and right on the money.
With Miller belly at the plate to check on the runner at first. Cardinals had Danny Herron getting loose in their bullpen last inning. No action there at the moment. Strike one on Mirabelli. You want to look at all the stats, home and road. The difference in the record, the runs per game, the team average, and the doubles. One on, one out, the 0-1 pitch on the outside corner. It's 0-2 on Mirabelli. Mirabelli's a guy who during the regular season got only 160 at bats, but hit 9 home runs and slugged over 500. He made the most of his chances, and he spoils an 0-2 pitch from Woody Williams.
Doug had the highest slugging percentage for catchers with 175 plate appearances or more. Slugging percentage, total bases divided into times at bat. So he's not just a guy who catches every 5th day. He catches a knuckleball.
See the kind of rip he gets even with a count of no balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, he is a good, strong hitter. And so is he.
The other guy we show you is Jason Varitek. Switch hitting catcher in his last year under contract for the Boston Red Sox, and there are quite a few on that list. Another 0-2 pitch. Mirabelli hits it into left field. Well hit, off the wall. Taguchi plays it off the wall, throws into second, and it's first and third, 1 out.
So Mirabelli hits it high off the 37-foot wall in left field. Nicely played by Taguchi. That ball had a little more elevation. It's gone. Ball's a home run in a lot of ballparks. The monster does take away occasionally also.
Belhorn takes a ball inside. Mark got a base hit the opposite way on a jam shot in the 2nd inning. Red Sox loaded the bases last inning, did not push a run across. At first and third, 1 out here. Belhorn checked his swing. It's 2-0. Danny Herron starts to get loose for St. Louis again. With runners on, Belhorn during the regular season hit .301. 2-1. Runner at third is Miller. Runner at first is Mirabelli. The 2-1. 3-1 with Johnny Damon on deck. it's a full count, and that was barely foul. Dale Scott is the first base umpire.
A good look at it right here. If it goes over the bag and lands foul, it's a fair ball. And that came very close to going over the bag and landing foul, but a good call by Dale Scott as it hooks right before it got to the first base bag.
So it's 3-2 now on Belhorn. 82 RBIs during the regular season. 4 this postseason. And the bases are loaded. Ron Jackson is the hitting coach for the Boston Red Sox. Here's his reaction. He wears a mic on that hit by Mirabelli. He agrees with you. That ball was launched and put yet another dent in the Green Monster. Some facts about the Green Monster, in case you haven't seen many games from Fenway Park. 37 feet tall. Painted green in 1947, 310 down the left field line. Changed from 315 in 1995. They added seats in 2003. Keep trying to add as many seats to Fenway Park as they can, and after the season is over, they will dig up this entire playing field. Try to get a better drainage system here at Fenway Park. And that wall next season might be 38 feet tall, as they're going to dig down into the surface here at Fenway. Bases loaded, 1 out. Damon hits it foul.
That's what Woody Williams has to do right now. Dig down deeply, because he is in a ton of trouble. You have a contact hitter up. You have a guy that doesn't hit into too many double plays. And you have Dan Herron warming for the Cardinals.
Base hit, Damon. Miller scores. Mirabelli is held at third, and the Red Sox add to their lead. It's 5-2. And that could be it for Woody Williams.
I would think so. Dan Herron warming up last inning is loose. And Tony La Russa is going to the mound.
So Woody Williams can't get through 3 innings in this World Series start. It's 5-2 Boston, looking for more. Bases loaded, 1 out. Woody Williams had waited a long time to start a game in the World Series. Came in this postseason 2-0. He lasts 70 pitches and only 2 1/3 innings, 5 runs on 8 hits, and he's responsible for all 3 runners on. And he gives way to the 24-year-old right-hander Dan Herron. Spent the majority of the season at AAA Memphis. And here he is in the World Series, Game 1, taking over with the bases loaded, 1 out, facing Orlando Cabrera. Into left field, a base hit. 1 run scores, that's Mirabelli. They hold Belhorn, and that makes it 6-2.
The last 2 balls were hit so hard that Dale Swain, the third base coach, could not score the Red Sox runners. The Damon single to right field, and now Cabrera to left field. It's especially difficult to score runners when your left fielder plays as shallow as Taguchi does, forced because of the Green Monster in left.
Now it's Manny Ramirez with the bases loaded, 1 out. Mirabelli in the game to catch Wakefield, and he is right in the middle of this 3rd inning rally. With a hit, now a run scored. Ramirez, strike 1. Manny tonight is fly to right and single.
Red Sox had that carousel working here in the 3rd.
The top run-producing team in the American League taking on the top run-producing team in the National League. And the Red Sox have good speed on the bases. Strike 2 on Ramirez. Dan Herron, who led the Pacific Coast League in strikeouts, needs one here. Red Sox have their 4-run lead back and a chance for much more. Left side, Renteria in the hole to second, out, no other play. A run scores, it's 7-2.
Ball hit to the right of Edgar Renteria. Orlando Cabrera, a middle infielder himself, going in hard at second base to make sure Ed Womack doesn't complete the double play as the Red Sox score another tally.
We saw Cabrera do that a couple of times in the ALCS. One time, he drilled Miguel Cairo, the second baseman of the Yankees. That's the first RBI for Manny Ramirez since Game 3 of the division series. And David Ortiz takes low ball 1. 4 runs in the first inning and 3 more here in the third for Boston. The 1-0 to Ortiz is wide, 2-0. Nicknamed Poppy. Sign of respect for David Ortiz, and the crowd chanting, "Who's your Poppy?" He's already hit a 3-run homer and walked. He's on his way to another walk. It's 3-0.
Yeah, Poppy popped one his first time up. 3-run home run, prodigious blast. His nickname is Poppy, and yet he's the 3rd youngest player on the Red Sox roster. He's only 28 years old. He's a young Poppy.
A 4-pitch walk. Ortiz on base for the 3rd time tonight. The 9th man to bat in the inning is Millar. Bases loaded, 2 out. Millar with a double and a run scored, and he's bounced into a force out. Takes a strike. Dan Herron features a fastball that comes in at over 90 miles per hour and a very good split-fingered pitch. Shattered bat. Renteria. Millar is gone. So are the Red Sox. But 3 more runs. Boston has come out firing here in Game 1. Leading it. The World Series on Fox is brought to you by Bud Light. Fresh, smooth, real. It's all here. And so far, it's been pretty much all Boston. 7-2 after 3 innings. Red Sox have chased the St. Louis starter Woody Williams, and here is Jim Edmonds. Smart play for a bunt base hit his first time up, scored a run, driven in by Matheny, and he leads it off. 4th inning, takes a ball. Cardinals led the National League in team average and total runs. As they try to figure out Tim Wakefield, he finds a strike. It's 1-1.
A lot of teams do this to Edmonds. They have 3 infielders on the right side of the infield, and yet out in center field, Johnny Damon is straight away. That's because Edmonds has power to all fields in the outfield, but when he puts the ball in play on the ground, he has a tendency to pull the ball.
Here's a 2-1. 3-1. The bunt base hit by Edmonds his first time. has pulled Bill Miller in over at third. He's still well off the line, but he is in, I would say, a good 4 or 5 steps from where he was back in the second. Here's a 3-1. A leadoff walk. Moments ago, we had a chance to visit with Red Sox manager Terry Francona. Terry Francona, thanks for the time. So far, so good tonight. This is a fantastic start for your team. Were you worried at all with the emotional series against the Yankees, how your guys would come out?
You know what? Not really. That was such a big series. And I've told so many people, our guys just love to play baseball. And this atmosphere at Fenway is so awesome that it feels like we've played about 90 playoff games this year.
Kind of odd. It's got to be odd, Terry, with a big lead early in a ball game.
Well, there's a lot of baseball left, but it is definitely a lot easier to play with a lead, especially with a team that likes to run a little bit and has some speed. But we got a long way to go.
You like what you see from Wakefield so far?
Yeah, he's doing okay. And, the wind wasn't necessarily in his favor when this game started, but he looks like he's got a pretty good knuckleball, and he's commanded so far. So far, so good.
Terry, thanks for your time.
Okay, guys.
Terry Francona, manager of the Red Sox. A leadoff walk by Wakefield. And now that one gets away, and Edmonds will go down to second base. Count goes to 2-0, and it certainly goes without saying as we look at this one just elude the glove of Mirabelli. In the category of a pass ball, albeit a tough one, with the knuckleball coming his way. We really appreciate the two managers agreeing to join us for those little interviews during the ball game. And certainly Tony La Russa and Terry Francona don't have to. We asked, they both said yes, and we're happy to share those interviews with you. It's all because they said okay. 2 balls, no strikes.
You'll get something other than a knuckleball here.
And it's high for ball 3. Right on the heels of Terry Francona saying so far so good with Wakefield commanding that knuckleball. He has walked Edmonds. And he's 3-0 on Sanders.
Even high with his fastball. He walked Edmonds on a fastball, went to 3-0 on a fastball.
Back-to-back walks. Back-to-back high fastballs. And 3 walks now on the record of Tim Wakefield tonight. 2 on. Nobody out. Tony Womack is walking to the plate. First knuckleball pitcher to start a World Series game since 1948 is Tim Wakefield, and he is the first Boston Red Sox starter to start and open a World Series here at Fenway Park since Louis Tion beat Cincinnati 6-0 in 1975.
Joe, you had an interesting comment before our opening while we were in commercial. You were looking at Wakefield warming up and just happened to mention to me that he is the opposite of a drop and drive pitcher. He has that straight right leg, which makes it good for a knuckleball, but then when he tries to throw the fastball, a lot of times he can't drop and drive and it stays high, and that's what's happened on the last 2 hitters.
See how the Cardinals want to play it. They had Womack bunt in a similar situation his first time, but here the Cardinals bat in the 4th inning down by 5, so a much different situation, even though the Red Sox expect it.
Yeah, you don't do that here.
Where Miller is, and Millar over at first. Bronson Arroyo getting loose.
You're going to pinch Womack anyway, pinch him toward home because he has such speed, but no way to the Cardinals bunt in this situation.
And all of a sudden Wakefield can't find a strike anyway, so why, if you're the Cardinals, would you give Boston and Wakefield a free out?
You got to take right here. Make Wakefield get the ball down in the strike zone.
Here's a 2-0. 3-0. And now Wakefield stares in, and Ed Montague, the home plate umpire.
Pitch looked high.
A 3-0 delivery. 3-1.
You love it as a hitter in this situation because you know you're going to get a fastball. Wakefield trying to take advantage of the 5-run lead.
And that's 3 walks to open the 4th. And the Cardinals could climb right back into this game as Millar goes over to the mound. to talk to Wakefield with Matheny coming up. Matheny has an RBI and a sac fly back in the second. And here is an opportunity for St. Louis to do some big damage. The Red Sox try and hurry Bronson Arroyo along out in their bullpen. Ball one inside. And Wakefield right now feels like he's getting squeezed. One ball, one strike.
Sticking with the knuckleball and a dandy. Two guys missed it, Matheny and Mirabelli.
Ed Montague, the home plate umpire, did not. Here's a 1-1. There's another strike. 1-2. Crowd back in it, bases loaded, nobody out. Two and two. Edmonds the runner at third. Sanders at second and Womack on at first. The 2-2. Full count. 15 pitches out of the strike zone in the inning, and only 4 strikes out of the hand of Tim Wakefield.
I think Trot Nixon's too deep in right field. Matheny does not have power the other way and has a tendency with 2 strikes to dump balls in front of the right fielder.
Foul.
Matheny, a guy with 2 strikes who feels for the ball outside. And when you feel for the ball outside and you do hit it the other way, you don't hit it with a lot of power.
Ken Boyer, the last grand slam. Did that against the Yankees in 1964.
And Al Downing.
Bases loaded, nobody out. Matheny pops it into shallow right, and Nixon is there. Edmonds is coming to the plate. The throw's cut off. Millar bobbled it and throws it into the dugout. 2 runs are going to come home on the play, and Tony Womack is going to end up at third base. It's a 7-4 game. Womack is at third. The throw was cut off by Millar, and then he couldn't get it out of his glove.
He actually had a shot at Reggie Sanders had he thrown it cleanly out of his mitt. Sometimes that mitt is so big that it hangs up in there. Trot Nixon does his job. He hits the cutoff man, and Millar's throw is errant. How many times on a sacrifice fly do you score 2 runs and send another runner to third with less than 2 outs?
It's a sac fly to right, E3. And the error sends Womack to third. Taguchi at the plate, 1 out. First pitch, a ball. Now a ground ball to third. Miller couldn't get it out of his glove and throws to first instead. That produces a run, and it's 7-5.
That's a great base running play by Tony Womack, who was about 4 feet inside the line running home. And Miller figures, well, I've got a 3-run lead. Watch Womack come inside the line, and Miller has to think twice before he goes home, goes to first, and the Cardinals have another run. Outstanding base running by Womack. He knew Miller had a shot at him, so he ran inside the line, well inside the line, and scores the Cardinal 5th run.
All of a sudden, it's a 2-run game here in the 4th inning as the pitch is low to Renteria. You could see that little clutch by Bill Miller over at third base. The question is, could he not get it out of his glove? Did he not get a good grip, or did he just rethink and then throw on to first?
I think he rethought it because he realizes the Red Sox have a 3-run lead, and why take a chance? Because when you throw home on a ball like that, Mirabelli's setting up inside, there's a pretty good chance you could hit the runner.
3-0 now to count on Renteria. Edgar Renteria will take a strike. A 3-1. Another walk. That's the 4th of the inning, and that is it for Wakefield. Lost it in a hurry. 4 walks in the frame, 5 on the night. The Cardinals are back in the game, have the tying run coming up, and Bronson Arroyo coming out of the pen. Bronson Arroyo was in the starting rotation for Boston in the division series and in the LCS at the beginning. Found his way into the bullpen, was effective against the Yankees, and now it's low in the rotation. Arroyo in the bullpen, and it's Arroyo in the game here in the 4th inning, game 1. Tying run at the plate, Larry Walker, who's 2 for 2. Renteria picked up the 4th walk of the inning, 5th of the night from Wakefield to extend the inning, and Walker gets his 3rd hit of the night. Renteria will turn and go to third. It's 1st and 3rd with 2 out, and Albert Pujols is coming up.
Well, it is said that you can't give a major league team 4 outs in an inning, or they'll come back on you. You also can't give an offense as powerful as the St. Louis Cardinals a chance to get back by walking 4 in an inning. And that's what Tim Wakefield did. And now the Cardinals taking advantage of it with their big gun up and 2 on.
Albert Pujols. 14 RBIs this postseason, 6 home runs. Runners at the corners, 2 out. Ball 1. Renteria on at third, Walker on at first. Walker has doubled, homered, and singled. Only in the 4th inning. Pujols takes a strike. Temperature in the low 40s, upper 30s. Wind whistling around Fenway Park. 7-5 Boston. 2-1 on Pujols. Steven Tyler, who sang the Star Spangled Banner before tonight's game, did a great job now watching. Native of Boston, as Albert Pujols waits for a 2-1 pitch coming his way. Off the end of the bat, it's Cabrera. The inning is finally over. But the Cardinals have climbed back into it. They get 3 in the 4th inning. It's 7-5. Bottom of the 4th at Fenway Park. Trot Nixon first up for the Red Sox here in the bottom of the 4th. It's 7-5. We came on the air talking about what this series might be. A high-scoring series, a lot of runs. And we would have to wait and see which bullpen could hang on to and nail down leads for victories. And we're already into the bullpen on each side as we play in the 4th inning. We've had a total of 12 runs on 13 hits. That's ball 3, 3-0 on Nixon. It's Nixon, Miller, and Mirabelli. 3-1. Herron, who figures to be a big part of the St. Louis rotation next year, out of the bullpen, finds the outside part of the plate. It's 3-2. Still full. We've already heard from the Red Sox hitting coach, who's wearing a microphone, Ron Jackson, and the DH for the Cardinals, Reggie Sanders, is wearing a microphone tonight as Nixon fouls it back and out of play. And there was an interesting verbal exchange in the top of this fourth inning that we'll play for you as soon as we get the chance. Nixon is fly to right, grounded out. Still 3-2. The Boston Red Sox, who won 5 of the first 15 World Series play. Back in the World Series for the first time since 1986. When they lost to the New York Mets. They lead tonight, game 1, as Nixon is in a battle with Danny Herron. This for Boston, their 5th World Series since they sold Babe Ruth to the Yankees. And the previous 4, it's gone to 7 games. 3-2 pitch, a leadoff walk. Nixon had to work for it. Here's the exchange between Reggie Sanders of the Cardinals and Orlando Cabrera, the shortstop of the Boston Red Sox.
I know you probably wasn't trying to throw elbows, but it looked like he was trying to throw elbows at second.
That was that slide, and that left elbow came up. Reggie with a warning to Orlando Cabrera.
That's in the category of a polite way of saying, don't do that again.
Yep, it is.
And it's something that we saw Cabrera do against the Yankees on 2 different occasions. One time catching Miguel Cairo, the second baseman from the Yankees, flush, knocking him down.
Yeah, the reason you don't want to do that is you're a middle infielder yourself. The old what goes around comes around.
1 ball, 1 strike on Bill Miller. Miller tonight an RBI single, a walk and a run scored. Pretty piece of hitting back in the first. The runner at third, 2 out. He took a pitch the other way and drove him in. That was against Woody Williams, knocking home Kevin Millar. On deck is Mirabelli.
Yeah, Bill Miller, a guy that Terry Francona loves to hit and run with. And the 2 ball and 1 strike count is the ideal hit and run count.
Nixon stays put. Miller fouls it away. 2-2. Red Sox got 3 in the bottom of the 3rd. The Cardinals answered with 3. 3 runs and only 1 hit in the top of this 4th. 2-2. Full count. Nixon running. Miller fouls it at the plate.
See that little move, that little turn in Bill Miller, like all hitters, reminding himself to keep the shoulder in. See hitters do that all the time. Just a little mental reminder.
Another 3-2. Nixon runs, ball 4. Back-to-back walks to start the 4th inning, and let's check in with Chris Myers.
Joe, I'm among the people. You talked about the fan base of these two teams. The Green Monster seats here at Fenway, an assortment of Red Sox fans. 86-year-old Sam, you've waited a long time for this.
Positively.
You were here for what, the 46th?
1946 World Series. I caught the first ball coming from here in Slaughter.
All right, well now, and also Therese has come. Where are you from?
Sweden.
Sweden. You're a Red Sox fan?
A huge Red Sox fan.
Your family?
My family, all the way from Sweden. They love the game.
And how about we have 3.5-year-old Ethan here, and you a big Red Sox fan?
Yeah.
How big, Ethan?
This big.
Really huge. All right, Joe, back to you.
All right, Chris, that's great. Chris Myers on top of the monster. 2 on, nobody out. Mirabelli flies into left field, and Taguchi hauls in out number 1. So Herron has put himself in a tight spot. And he gets the first out. Now it's Belhorn walking to the plate.
That young lady from Sweden, I would imagine Sweden would have a very short baseball season.
Oh, yeah.
With the weather up there. More like Sweden than it is Boston tonight.
We've already heard from Abba tonight.
Yeah, right.
They're from Sweden, right?
Mamma mia, of course.
2 on, 1 out. And a ball in the dirt smothered by Matheny. Belhorn has been on base twice tonight. With a single, a walk, and a run scored. During the regular season, set a Red Sox record with 177 strikeouts. Here he pops it up. Long run in for Walker. Out goes Womack. And it's Walker who makes the circus-like catch. He didn't know if Womack was going to come out anymore, and Walker at the end has to lunge to make the play.
Walker starting from deep right field, respecting Mark Belhorn's power. He had trouble with the wind, it looked like there.
And now with 2 on, 2 out, here's Johnny Damon, who's hit the ball hard in 3 at-bats. He's doubled and scored, line to short, and has an RBI single. Ball 1 low. I learned from you as a young man sitting at home watching you broadcast a World Series that you can't see the wind.
No, you can't.
See the effect of the wind.
Yes. But you don't watch the wind.
No, you can't.
You can't.
2-0 on Damon. You remember that?
I don't remember saying that, but I know I've said it. I don't remember what year.
Whistling in, straight in from center field. A 2-0. Damon takes a strike. 91 miles per hour from Herron. Those 2 runners were on with nobody out. They're on with 2 out. Damon chased it. 2-2.
That looked like a splitter. Yep, it was. That's the dead spin that hitters are used to seeing. So on a fastball count, a good splitter from Herron.
Damon pops it up, shallow left field, and so Taguchi will haul it in. Herron put the first 2 on, gets around it. Rolling, 2 up for St. Louis. 2-run game after 4. Back after this from your local station. It's a 7-5 Boston lead. Into the 5th inning we go. Scott Rowland first up for St. Louis, takes a strike. Bronson Arroyo starts the 5th inning fresh, came on in the 4th. Gave up a hit to Larry Walker and then got Pujols. The tying runs on to end the top of the fourth. Rolling to Cabrera. One out here in the fifth inning. Coming up tomorrow, it's Fox NFL Sunday. Doubleheader, game one, the Lions and the Giants. Cowboys at the Packers. Good way to end the football day on Fox. It all begins at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. Broadcast in Fox Sports High Definition. And then it's us from Fenway Park, game 2 of this World Series. A long day of sports on Fox tomorrow as Edmonds takes a strike. Edmonds has walked and scored and rolled out a bunt hit and scored a run. Did that back in the second. With one out, nobody on. Edmonds 0-2.
Boy, Arroyo appears to be locked in. A good fastball to jam Scott Rowland. And now after the fastball, a good breaking ball to get Edmonds in the hole.
And I think it's what Bronson Arroyo showed out of the bullpen. The extra inning affair here at Fenway Park against the Yankees, and then what he did in game 6. I mean, you cannot underline enough the job that Bronson Arroyo did in the 8th inning at Yankee Stadium on Tuesday night. Schilling had gone 7 innings, allowing 1 run on 4 hits. And Arroyo took the ball next, and in the 8th inning did give up a run, kept it a 2-run game, and that's how it ended, thanks to the terrific work of Keith Fulk. That forced game 7. Edmonds is gone, 2 out in the 5th.
Fastball, breaking ball, fastball on the outside part. Gets Edmonds.
You can play Hit the Pros presented by the all-new GMC Canyon and face real pitches from today's best hurlers. Log on to foxsports.com on MSN. Keyword games. GMC, we are professional grade. With 2 out, nobody on, Reggie Sanders, the polite Reggie Sanders, stands in and pops it up. Into right field, Nixon coming on, the wind pushing it, and it just threw that ball out of play. Strike 1 instead of out number 3.
Trot Nixon drifting, and that ball about 7 or 8 rows back.
Reggie Sanders this year became the first player in Major League history to hit 20 or more home runs with 6 different teams. For a guy that's bounced around as much as Reggie Sanders has, you think, well, he must be a bad guy. A problem in the clubhouse, and he is the opposite. Signing a 2-year deal with St. Louis over the offseason, so he at least knows where he will call his baseball home next year. Here's a 1-1. Backing out of play, strike 2.
Reggie, a very good low ball hitter, and National League pitchers try to pitch him above the hands because of his penchant to carry those hands lower than most hitters.
The 1-2 to Sanders, 2-2. This was by far the best year in the big leagues for Bronson Arroyo, who used to pitch for the Pirates. And he really grew on manager Terry Francona to the point where he got the ball in game 3 of the division series. Pitched well against the Angels. Bullpen blew the lead, and Sanders is bailing on strike 3. A 1-2-3 frame. Manny Ramirez due up in the bottom of the 5th for the Red Sox.
What's the difference between me and you?
Providing aerial coverage for tonight's broadcast, Liberty, the AmeriQuest Mortgage ship. AmeriQuest Mortgage, the official mortgage company of Major League Baseball. Red Sox at one point led by as many as 5. Now it's 7-5. Bottom of the 5th inning. And Orlando Cabrera first up. Cabrera, Ramirez, Ortiz. Strike one from Herron. We've got around back-to-back walks to start the 4th inning by getting Mirabelli, Belhorn, and Damon. 1 ball, 1 strike. Tony La Russa was behind Terry Francona in announcing his rotation for the rest of this World Series. We'll give that to you. 1-1 pitch. Late swing by Cabrera. He was fooled. Strike 2. It'll be Matt Morris and Kurt Schilling tomorrow night in Game 2. Pedro Martinez and Jeff Suppan in Game 3 in St. Louis. Derek Lowe and Jason Marquis in Game 4. Here's a 1-2 pitch. Cabrera bounces it on 2 hops to Renteria. A happy man, Manny Ramirez, is coming to the plate. If you're on his team, be prepared to be hugged.
Keep smiling, keep shining, knowing you can always count on me. For sure, that's what friends are for. In good times, in bad times, I'll be on your side forevermore. Oh, that's what friends are for.
Dionne Warwick. Ball 1 down and in to Manny Ramirez.
Stevie Wonder has never sung to a handshake like Kevin Millar and Manny Ramirez. I tell you, that thing takes some practice.
Here's a 1-0. 2 balls, no strikes.
Red Sox about as unconventional a group of guys as you will find. Have fun playing the game, and as Terry Francona says, they love to play baseball.
That's a fair ball. Hits the umpire after bounding off that extra billboard down the left side. A photographer's well. It came out and caught Jerry Davis, but it goes as a single either way.
And that ball is in play. Once it goes by the infielder and hits the umpire, it is not only a fair ball, but a ball that is live. So Jerry Davis just staying there, retrieved by Taguchi, and he holds Ramirez to a single.
Here's David Ortiz, 1-on-1 out. Ramirez got around first, saw that happen down the left field line, and was caught as Ortiz takes a strike. He thought about going down to second, then hesitated, and ended up retreating back to first base. Our Budweiser fantasy players are Albert Pujols and David Ortiz, the MVPs of the recent LCS action. Ortiz goes after that splitter. It's 0-2. You can log on to foxsports.com on MSN, keyword fantasy baseball. Tonight's game brought to you by Budweiser. Grab a cold fresh Budweiser. It's game time. No balls, 2 strikes, 1-on-1 out. Ball 1. Back in the first. 3-0 Boston. Home run number 5 of this postseason. 2-2.
American League pitchers try to crowd David Ortiz with high fastballs, but he's so strong that he can fight that ball off and put it in front of deep outfielders or outfielders playing deeply.
Jammed there and a fly ball into left for Taguchi. 2 outs. You know, we had those quick little visits with the managers, and if you think back to the interviews, Tony La Russa said the pitch count from Wakefield is getting up. I like our chances if we can hold them down. And then right after that, 3-run bottom of the 3rd inning. And at the time, it was 7-2. Then Tony La Russa's offense got to Tim Wakefield. He lost control of his pitches. He walked 4 in the top of the 4th inning. Right on the heels of Terry Francona saying he liked the control up to this point by Wakefield. He lost control. He gave up 3 runs. It became a 7-5 game in the span of 6 outs. And it's still 7-5 in the bottom of the 5th.
I think even Tim Wakefield tonight would say that Tim Wakefield got to Tim Wakefield. The 4 walks.
1 ball, 1 strike on Millar with 1 on, 2 out. Bottom 3 in the order coming up for St. Louis in the 6th. Womack, Matheny, and Taguchi. The 1-1. Strike 2. '46, 67, 75, 86, and now 2004. I think somebody got a foul ball into a beverage and got splashed down to our right. The count's still 1-2 on Millar. Pennant winning 46 Red Sox. Meanwhile, the Cardinals have 9 world championships, but they're enjoying their first pennant since 1987. They haven't won the World Series since 1982. Millar hits it to 3rd. Roland picks it up, guides it across, and the inning is over. We go to the 6th inning. The State House here in Boston. It's 7-5 Red Sox after 5. Bronson Arroyo goes back to work. Joe Buck, Tim McCarver, our producer Pete Macheska, our director Bill Webb here at a very cold Fenway Park, and it looks like Bronson Arroyo, Mr. Gloved One, has got his A game coming out of the bullpen here early for the Boston Red Sox.
He really does. He looks locked in, and he might be the only person in this stadium who is wearing a t-shirt pitching with a bare right arm. Normally pitchers wearing the long sleeve woolen shirts under that uniform, but not Bronson.
Family from Cuba. As Womack hits it in the air to right, Nixon has to go back, adjust and get it. 1 out. One down, and Matheny will be the hitter.
Tony Womack normally does not have that kind of power to the outfield.
Here's Matheny. Bronson Arroyo's father, an immigrant from Cuba, was on dialysis, needed a kidney, and Bronson Arroyo offered his father one of his, and his father refused it. Didn't want to take it from his son, and his mother, Bronson's mother, a nurse, had a co-worker. There was a match there. The co-worker, friends with Bronson's mother, donated the kidney to Bronson Arroyo's father.
Wow, what a great story. Wow.
Matheny keeps it 0-2. He's named after the actor, the late Charles Bronson. Has taught Kevin Millar how to play the guitar. And as a kid, had a pitching mound in his backyard. Interesting delivery. As Matheny strikes out, 2 down. It's almost a, can I say this, Tim, pretty leg kick by Bronson Arroyo. Like he's a member of the Rockettes, bringing it to the plate.
I talked to Bronson before the game. He grew up in Key West, Florida. Spent a lot of time there as a kid, and he was telling me that next week it's Fantasy Fest in Key West, Florida, where people parade around in body paint only. That's what's happening in Key West next week, and I'm beginning to sound like Willard Scott.
Yeah. I don't know that Willard's ever talked about Fantasy Fest, as that makes it 0-2 on So Taguchi. When's that, next weekend?
That is next week, yes. But that is I mean, it's a high leg kick. It's a kick he doesn't use from the stretch.
Willard could find somebody that was turning 100 participating in Fantasy Fest, then Willard Scott would have something to talk about.
That would be a story, yes.
With a name like Mabel, she's got to be pretty. Here's an 0-2. Slow roller, Bronson Arroyo. Off balance, throws it away, and that will send Taguchi down to second with 2 out. It'll be a base hit, E1 on the throw. And so a team, the Red Sox, that committed only 1 error the entire ALCS, has 2 here tonight.
Yeah, there are 2 plays that the Red Sox are thinking again about. The one play by Kevin Millar, where he threw the ball in the dugout, and this play by Bronson Arroyo. Bronson should have kept that one. It trickles in the dugout, or the camera well near the Red Sox dugout. Theo Epstein is not at all pleased about that.
So the tying run is at the plate. 6th inning, 7-5 Boston. Runner at second, 2 out. Renteria playing in his 2nd World Series. Part of the champion Marlins in '97. And you can see the effect of this breaking ball on these right-handed hitters. Sanders was bailing on a pitch that was called strike 3, and Renteria was trying to get out of the way of a pitch that just missed.
Yeah, if your first step as a hitter is to go back on your heels, then the pitcher's got you.
A 1-0. Strike 1. On deck is Larry Walker, who's already 3 for 3 tonight. The 1-1. Renteria does not look comfortable at all facing Arroyo. The count's 2-1.
Arroyo dropping down. You can see when Renteria goes back on that heel, the front heel, and that's not generally a good sign for the hitter.
He went. It's a 2-2 count.
4 breaking balls in a row to Renteria. And again, back on the heels.
It would be shocking to see Arroyo throw anything but a breaking ball here.
I agree with you.
Arroyo came in the 4th. Pitched a perfect 5th. Got the first 2 here in the 6th. A chop base hit down the 3rd baseline. Then the throwing error has Taguchi at second, 2 out. Here comes a 2-2. Renteria lines it into left center field. It's a 1-run game. That ball goes all the way to the wall, and Renteria is standing at second. It is 7-6 here in the 6th.
And Arroyo does go to the breaking ball, but he hangs it A slider that backs up and stays over the middle of the plate. Rifled by Ramirez in left field. So 5 straight breaking balls. The problem with that is that 5th one's got to be a little better than the first one. And Arroyo hanging that pitch. It shows you right now the problem with the throw to first base. I think Bronson wishes he had held on to that ball. Then you have second and third, perhaps. Second and third. It's still a 2-run ball game.
America's #1 pregame show's back, and tomorrow they take a look at the Jets' best start in franchise history and their attempt to end the Patriots' streak. Plus, we'll break down the Packers' chances to get back into playoff contention. Warren Sapp goes 10 yards with Terry Bradshaw. Fox NFL Sunday returns tomorrow, noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific on Fox as Mike Myers, a left-hander, and Mike Timlin, the right-hander and former Cardinal, get loose in the Red Sox bullpen. Here's Walker, and the Cardinals are a hit away from tying this game. That is a fair ball. That's going to tie the ball game as Trot Nixon goes to get it down the right field line. It's 7-7, and Walker is 4 for 4. Three straight 2-out hits, and the Cardinals have come back to even it.
And 4 straight hits for Larry Walker. 2 doubles, a home run. And this ball right by the diving Millar. Kevin tried to keep it on the infield, but it just squirts by the glove, and the Cardinals have tied it. The double by Renteria. He scores easily on the double by Walker.
More 2-out runs, something the Cardinals have done throughout this postseason. They beat the Dodgers that way, and they made a lot of noise against the Astros with 2-out runs. During the postseason, 61% of the Cardinals' runs have come with 2 out. Both runs here in the 6th inning to tie it. Breaking ball is strike 2 to Albert Pujols. Just in case you were wondering, no one has ever hit for the cycle in the history of postseason baseball. Walker is a triple away and came pretty close right there. Ball 1, low and away. 1,107 games. No one has hit for the cycle. Right now, Pujols is trying to knock home a run and give the Cardinals their first lead of Game 1. Two and 2. Albert Pujols, one of only 3 in the history of Major League Baseball to average 125 RBIs his first 4 years. The other 2, DiMaggio and Ted Williams. The 2-2 pitch to Pujols. Inning over. Cardinals get 2 2-out runs in the 6th inning. As we go to the bottom of the 6th, bottom of the order coming up for Boston, it's 7-7. Trot Nixon up there hacking on the first pitch, bottom of the 6th inning, a 7-7 game. The Cardinals trailed 7-2. After 3 innings, they got 3 runs in the 4th, 2 more in the 6th. Larry Walker has been at the center of all of it. And Nixon first up here in the bottom half of the 6th. 1 ball, 1 strike from Dan Herron. Nixon, Miller, and then Mirabelli's spot, but Jason Varitek has come in from the bullpen and could pinch hit. If Terry Francona wants to go that way in the bottom of the 6th. 2 balls and a strike on Nixon. Varitek.
Certainly he'd be the hitter with 1 on or with 2 on. With 2 out and nobody on, maybe not.
3-1 on Nixon. 6 home runs for Nixon during the regular season, a season that started with a bulging disc in his back and a terrible quad injury. And on a cold night, he has to leg it down to first as Herron makes the play. 1 out, bottom of the 6th inning, and once again, Chris Myers.
Joe, the wind has picked up a little bit blowing in from center field, and actually in between innings I walked by home plate. Right in that area it seems to swirl a little bit more, and it's getting colder. The temperature's dropped about 10 degrees since the start of the game, and I asked the Cardinal equipment manager before the game how they packed for New England weather like this. He said long johns, hand warmers, and red stocking caps. That's red stocking caps, no red socks.
Thank you, Chris. That would be Rip Rowan, Cardinal equipment manager, taking over for the great Buddy Bates. 1 ball, no strikes on Bill Miller. On base all 3 times tonight. Low from Herron, 2-0. Miller with an RBI single, a walk and a run scored. He walked again in the 4th as these Red Sox hitters face Herron for the 2nd time. Miller able to check his swing. It's 3-0.
You mentioned Bill Miller, a St. Louisan, and he wears the number 11. When he was 11 years old, he was in the stands in the nosebleed section when the Cardinals won their last World Championship back in 1982. There with his dad.
Cardinals beating Milwaukee that year. 3-1 pitch. Full count.
Harvey's wall bangers. Harvey Keene, the manager. And did they ever have a power-laden team? Cecil Cooper, Ben Ogilvy, Gorman Thomas, Robin Yount, Paul Molitor.
That's slapped foul. Still 3-2.
Ted Simmons.
Timlin is ready to go for Boston. 7th inning, it'll be Rowland, Edmonds, and Sanders for St. Louis. Miller with 1 out, nobody on. Pops it into left center field, and Edmonds is back. 2 down. Get the new MLB Authentic Collection Premier Jacket and wear what the players wear. The MLB Authentic Collection is available on MLB.com or at 888-MLB-SHOP. Clothes make the fan. And here is Varitek pinch hitting in the 6th. Okay, I'm going to say it right now. This is, I think this move is in at least approaching the category of curious with 2 out, nobody on, the way Mirabelli handles the bat. And certainly Varitek is a guy that can pop the ball out of the park.
Yep.
But with the situation on the bench, Varitek could come up in a key spot later in the ball game, more of an RBI situation. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Yeah, and as you look down the lineup, who would he pinch hit for? The most likely guy he would pinch hit for is Doug Mirabelli. So if that's the case, why not hit him now?
With 2 out, nobody on, here's a 1-1. He tried to check his swing. He didn't. According to Chuck Merriweather, the 3rd base umpire, and Varitek's in the hole, 1-2. So Herron has been behind each of the first 2 hitters, come back to get him, and now he's out in front of Varitek, 1-2.
I think as importantly, you run out of runners. In other words, if you kept Mirabelli in there, then you could pinch run for him later, and Varitek is still in the wings. Varitek's the last catcher. The Red Sox only carrying 2 catchers.
Yeah, and that was really more of the point that I was getting at. In case something were to happen to Mirabelli on a cold night. Now you've got Varitek. Something happens to Varitek, Mirabelli's gone.
That's right.
Here's a 1-2. And the inning is over. We go to the 7th inning. Middle part of the order coming up for St. Louis. 7-7 game. Back after this from your local station. Third pitcher of the night for Boston is Mike Timlin. Bronson Arroyo, so good until he got 2 outs in the top of the 6th inning. And then what started the trouble for St. Louis? Just a little chopper hit down the third baseline that Arroyo threw away, then back-to-back doubles by Renteria and Walker. And Arroyo ends up giving up 2 runs on 4 hits. And so now in the 7th and a 7-7 game, we remind you this February, Fox takes center stage for 2 of sports' biggest events, the Great American Race, the Daytona 500, and the NFL crowns a new champion in Super Bowl 39. Sports' greatest moments continue to unfold this February only on Fox. Jason Varitek stays in the game. He does the catching. And as we move into the 7th inning, Scott Rowland is digging his way in. He's 0 for 3. The top 2 run producing teams, one from each league, hooking up in this World Series as Rowland strike 1. And the last time that happened, where the top run scoring team from the AL at the top from the NL, was the '75 World Series between Boston and Cincinnati. And that series went all 7. 0-2 on Rowland with Calero continuing to loosen. The Red Sox in the bottom of this 7th will have Belhorn, Damon, Cabrera. Rowland 3 home runs in the NLCS, takes high. Rowland hits it in the air to center field for Damon. 1 out in the 7th. Should it surprise anybody that we are here in game 1 between these 2 teams and it's 7-7? You compare these 2, the Cardinals and Red Sox. Cardinals 1st in average in the NL, the Red Sox 2nd in average. 3rd in home runs with the Cardinals, 4th with the Boston Red Sox. And here's Jim Edmonds, who's been on base twice. Edmonds 5th in the National League with 42 home runs. Pops it up into left for Manny Ramirez. 2 out. In walks Reggie Sanders. Sanders 2 walks, a run scored, and a strikeout. Ball 1.
There are a lot of different reasons and a lot of opinions about why the Red Sox are here. In my view, the Red Sox are playing the first game of the World Series here at Fenway Park because their bullpen. Their bullpen was extraordinary against the New York Yankees the last 4 games.
And it was the same group night after night as Millard digs it out and saves a throwing error from Timlin. A perfect 7th inning from Mike Timlin, and we will stay right here at Fenway Park as we move toward the bottom of the 7th.
Men and women currently stationed across the globe, we welcome the winner of the 2002 American Idol competition on Fox and platinum recording artist Kelly Clarkson, who will now lead us in this evening's presentation of God Bless America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above.
Thank you, Kelly Clarkson.
The World Series on Fox brought to you by Honda, the four-wheel drive, 255 horsepower Pilot built by Honda. By John Hancock, official sponsor of Major League Baseball. And by Warner Brothers' new motion picture, The Polar Express. The journey begins Wednesday, November 10th. We're into the bottom of the 7th inning. Game summary is brought to you by John Hancock. Woody Williams could not get through 3. Tim Wakefield could not get through 4, the 2 starters. Ortiz a 3-run shot in the first. Larry Walker 4 for 4. And the Red Sox have blown what was at one point a 5-run lead, 7-2. It's 7-7. And here is Mark Belhorn, the number 9 man, against the 3rd pitcher for St. Louis, Kiko Calero. Calero has blossomed into a valuable right-hander out of the bullpen for Tony La Russa. He and Julian Tavarez provide the main setup relief for Jason Isringhausen. From the right side, Ray King is the only lefty available in the bullpen now for Tony La Russa, as Steve Klein was left off the World Series roster, and Al Reyes, a right-hander, was added. Here's a 2-0 to Belhorn. 2-1.
That's how much obvious respect the Cardinals have for David Ortiz. They have Ray King warming up to pitch to Ortiz, who could be the 5th hitter in this inning if the Red Sox get anything going.
3 balls and a strike.
Come on, kid.
Full count. It's a big loss for St. Louis to not have Steve Klein available. Tore a groin muscle late in the season, then a tendon, having trouble in his index finger on his pitching hand. It was a very good 1-2 punch from the left side of the bullpen for La Russa this year. A leadoff walk. Good start to this 7th inning for Boston. 7th walk handed to the Red Sox tonight. And here's Damon.
Johnny Damon tried to bunt against the New York Yankees with 2 runners on in game 6 and popped it up. He is a very good bunter, and that statistic we used earlier, only 12 sacrifices on the year. It'll be interesting to see what Terry Francona opts to do here. Normally you would bunt. Damon, with good speed, could bunt for a base hit, or he could wait until the count's in his favor and put the hit and run on.
Cardinal bullpen had the top ERA in the National League this season. 1 on, nobody out. Not showing bunt, takes a strike. Terry Francona, the manager for the Red Sox, played predominantly in the National League, long time with the Montreal Expos, for a short while with the St. Louis organization, and managed in Philadelphia. But not bunting here, and the count's 0-2 on Damon. 11 o'clock straight up on the scoreboard here at Fenway Park. Game 1 of this World Series. And a matchup between the St. Louis Cardinals and the Boston Red Sox. Tonight, that big trio of Pujols, Rowland, and Edmonds, 1 for 10. Yet a 7-7 game, bottom of the 7th. Ball 1 to Damon. Orlando Cabrera next. Then Manny Ramirez and Ortiz. Ray King ready to go. time called. That look is because of the leadoff walk. Handed out to Belhorn. Damon waits for a 1-2. Shattered bat. Womack has only one play, and like a bunt, Damon advances the go-ahead run down to second. One away. Cabrera coming up.
As good as a bunt, but with a bunt, you save a bat. Damon shattering the bat and not hitting it hard enough to Womack at second to get the force play. Normal speed.
He's lost a lot of bats this postseason. Here's Orlando Cabrera. He has hit very well for the Red Sox in a couple of different spots in their lineup this postseason. And a hit that put Boston back on top. Ball one.
Tell you, if I were a hitter on the Boston Red Sox, I would plead with the manager to hit me second. Because you know that a pitcher is not going to pitch around you. He's going to find the middle part of the plate with Ramirez and Ortiz coming up.
Cabrera pops it up, back behind the plate, Matheny out of room.
You are going to have your pitches to hit if you hit second in this lineup.
And you can plead, but you also have to earn your way into that spot, and Cabrera's done that.
Absolutely.
It was Belhorn earlier in this postseason. Now it's Cabrera up in the number 2 spot. And what a golden opportunity for Orlando. Two balls and a strike. Opposing hitters talk about Kiko Calero, and they put him in the category of those pitchers that hide the ball very well. And all of a sudden, a 90-mile-an-hour fastball looks like 94 or 95, and they have a tough time, the right-handers do, connecting with his breaking ball. The 2-1. 3 balls and a strike.
Yeah, aside from having a good arm, that could be the most valuable weapon a pitcher has. Is how he looks to a hitter. And if you can't pick the ball up, he appears to have better stuff than he really has. In the hole here to Cabrera.
Go ahead run at second, 1 out, 3-1 pitch. 2 on, 1 out. 2 walks. And that will bring Dave Duncan out of the dugout. So with 2 on, 1 out, Manny Ramirez is coming up. David Ortiz will be standing in the on-deck circle, and we look ahead to tomorrow night. World Series Game 2. 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. And a matchup of Matt Morris and Curt Schilling. A couple of guys who hooked up in a great division series game back in 2001 for the Cardinals and the Diamondbacks.
And during the introductions tonight, predictably, Curt Schilling with the biggest ovation of the Red Sox.
Where will he fit in the sports history of this city if the Red Sox should go on to win this World Series with what he did in that Game 6 start at Yankee Stadium? Right now, it's Manny Ramirez dealing with Kiko Calero. 2 on, 1 out. Tie game, 7th inning, ball 1. Schilling had these sutures put in today. extra one, 4 stitches. Try to hold that tendon in one spot, looking ahead to his start tomorrow night on his right ankle. Ramirez with a base hit into center. Edmonds will come up throwing. The throw is wide. The other runners advance. They have Ramirez between first and second, able to get back to first. And the Red Sox have regained the lead. It's 8-7.
What a hitter. Trying to slip the cheese by Manny Ramirez. A low fastball hammered to center. And 1 run scores. Outstanding base running by Orlando Cabrera. And a very poor throw by Jim Edmonds. The throw to second base, but nobody's back at first.
Kiko Calero walks 2. Gives up a run. Manny Ramirez delivers for the Red Sox in the 7th. Manny Ramirez went the entire 7-game ALCS without an RBI. He has 2 tonight, and his reaction after putting the Red Sox back in front in the 7th.
Well, nobody's covering first because the right side of the infield collapsed toward the center. And when Mike Matheny made the play on the throw from Jim Edmonds, there was nobody covering first. Pujols tried to get over there, but Ramirez retreated to first base.
So now it's Ray King dealing with David Ortiz, and these two should face each other a number of times during this World Series. Ortiz takes ball 1 inside. Ortiz with a 3-run homer and a pair of walks is 1 for 2. Hard hit, and that comes up and catches Womack. In to score is Cabrera. Stopping at second is Ramirez. It's 9-7 Boston, but Tony Womack caught that up around the collarbone of the throat.
Trainer Barry Weinberg rushing out. Hopeful, the Cardinals are hopeful that it's on the muscle on the left side, like the shoulder area. That ball with a wicked hop. I think it's going to be scored as a base hit. Another run scores. Boy. Looked like it hit him on the clavicle, that area right above the
He's already been dealing with terrible back spasms that forced him to leave Game 6 of the NLCS. And on this cold night at Fenway Park, Tony Womack has yet to really stretch that left arm out and see how far he can go with it. Womack's trying to walk it off. It's an RBI base hit, and watch how fast this ball came up and caught Tony Womack.
Hit very hard. Looked like the breastbone area right below the throat, perhaps to the left, right in the clavicle area. Man.
And Womack is going to exit. Marlon Anderson will come in the game and take over at second after this. So Ortiz has a 4 RBI night. And here are the Gillette Mach 3 power home run hitters for the 2004 postseason. Beltran leads away with 8 from the Astros. Pujols 6, Ortiz with 5, including his shot in the first inning tonight, and Walker has 5. and one tonight as well. So hopefully Womack is okay, and Marlon Anderson takes over with Millar coming up.
Keep in mind that you cannot make a replacement during the series. If Tony Womack is seriously injured, you can't replace him with another player.
It's a 2-run Boston lead, 9-7 here in the bottom of the 7th, 2 on with 1 out. And so far it's the Red Sox winning this battle of the bullpens. Both hitters that Calero walked and come around to score. And now Millar takes a strike. Cal Eldred, a right-hander, is getting loose in the St. Louis bullpen. But it's Millar now and a left-handed Trot Nixon on deck. 2 on, 1 out. Millar takes strike 2. The 4 RBIs tonight for David Ortiz ties a Red Sox World Series record. Yastrzemski had 4 in Game 2 in 67. In the top of the 8th, it'll be Marlon Anderson, Mike Matheny, and So Taguchi, the bottom 3 in the lineup for St. Louis.
Joe, it's funny how the game goes sometimes. If Manny Ramirez is on second base, Tony La Russa is forced to play his infield in with Ortiz hitting. And Womack gets a more predictable hop than he got at second base. Little quirky nuances of the game.
Still 0-2 on Millar. 2 on, 1 out, and Millar goes up to get it and fouls it back. There's a situation right now. Woody Williams, the Cardinals starter, went 2 1/3, 7 runs on 8 hits. Herron very good out of the bullpen, 3 2/3, no runs on 2 hits. But Calero has had 2 score against him here in the 7th, and he's still responsible for the runner at second, Manny Ramirez. On at first, Ortiz, in the 0-2 to Millar. That's foul.
See, if Ramirez is on at second base, had he made it to second, then Womack is more shallow, and the ball that came up to hit him in the left shoulder area would have been a more predictable hop. Now, you're not sure that Ortiz would have hit a ball like that, but had he, the Cardinals have a shot at home to cut off the run, but more importantly, Womack's not hurt.
Still 0-2 on Millar. Red Sox getting their first run since a 3-run 3rd inning. The 0-2. Millar tonight doubled in the first inning after the Ortiz 3-run homer, and he scored on a 2-out hit by Miller. Grounded out 3 times since. The 0-2. Another foul. Guy's on his toes.
Some play right there. Pick it, Wilson.
A World Series moment of greatness for that guy down the left field line. And he is using a Wilson. Here's an 0-2. Ball 1. King came on for Ortiz, and in their first matchup, Ortiz hit a rocket against the Cardinal left-hander. Popped up. Matheny in foul territory for out number 2. For the latest on the Womack injury, let's go down to Chris Myers.
Joe, I just spoke with the trainer Barry Weinberg. He was walking with Womack, who was leaning over in excruciating pain. He took a shot in the left collarbone. That's where the injury is. They're taking Womack for precautionary x-rays at an x-ray room here at Fenway Park.
All right, Chris, thanks. There's Barry Weinberg. It looked like the last 2 times I've seen that replay, it glanced first off the right hand of Womack and then into the clavicle area. And as Trot Nixon is lifted for the pinch hitter Gabe Kapler, Tony La Russa is going to go to Cal Eldred out of his bullpen here in the 7th. That fantastic 3-4 combination of this Red Sox lineup of Manny Ramirez and David Ortiz with the RBIs here in the 7th inning. And it's Boston back on top by 2 as Cal Eldred works in his 4th game of this postseason. 2 on, 2 out. Kapler at the plate.
And it should be pointed out that if Manny Ramirez is running hard out of the box and not celebrating with his right index finger up in the air, he's on second base easily on the throw by Jim Edmonds home.
Strike 1 to Kapler.
There it is again. Ramirez getting the hit. And then the throw by Edmonds way over the head of the cutoff man, Albert Pujols. And Ramirez would have been into second base easily, but he was celebrating and not running hard.
1 ball, 1 strike.
Now he turns it on. And by the time he retreats, no one's covering first base.
On 1-1, Kapler takes outside from Eldred. Kapler came on to pinch hit. That chased King out of the game, and Francona likes to go to Kapler. A little more range in the outfield out in right. Red Sox now leading by 2 in the bottom of the 7th. The count evens at 2-2. Bottom part of the order coming up for St. Louis in the 8th. The 2-2 pitch to Kapler. Got him on the inside corner, and the inning is over. 2 walks, 2 hits, 2 runs for Boston. They lead by 2. We move into the 8th inning of Game 1. It's a 9-7 Boston lead. First up, Marlon Anderson. First pitch swinging. 2 hopper. 1 out. Up above, providing aerial coverage for tonight's broadcast, is Liberty, the AmeriQuest mortgage ship. AmeriQuest Mortgage, the official mortgage company of Major League Baseball. Anderson's first at bat since taking over for the injured Tony Womack. Doug Minkiewicz is in the game at first base. Kapler stays in the game in right. And Timlin has retired all 4 Cardinal hitters he's faced. Here's Matheny, right back up the middle. And Matheny is on with his first hit of the night. His first World Series hit is against Mike Timlin, who we used to catch in a Cardinal uniform. And here comes Roger Cedeno off the bench to bat for Taguchi.
Number 32, Roger.
Alan Embry, the left-hander, Keith Folk, the right-hander, getting loose, and Jason Marquis, the Game 4 starter, is going to come on and pinch run for Matheny.
Number
Pretty sure bet, Tim, that Marquis will not stay in and catch.
No, I think that's a reasonable comment.
Here comes Francona with Roger Cedeno, the switch hitter, coming up. Francona is going to go back to his bullpen. Takes the ball from Timlin, 1 on, 1 out. Tying run at the plate for St. Louis in the 8th. Alan Embry takes over for Mike Timlin. 8th inning, 1 on, 1 out, and Roger Cedeno takes low, ball 1. Cedeno, the switch hitter, flips around and bats right-handed against Embry, who's done this in the postseason. Cedeno 2 hits, 8 at-bats this postseason. One of those 2 hits huge for St. Louis in Game 7. He got it off Roger Clemens in the 6th inning. And that was the inning in which the Cardinals came up with 3 runs to take a 4-2 lead, a game they won 5-2. 1 ball, 1 strike on Cedeno. Two and 1.
Cedeno, a key guy, not only in this inning, but in this game. If he gets Cedeno out, then you can leave Embry in to pitch to Renteria. And the reason you do that is because of Larry Walker. Keith Folk, the stopper, warming for the Red Sox.
Runner at first, 1 out. And Cedeno floats 1 into right field. That will fall for a base hit. Marquis stumbling into second base, and it's 2 on with 1 out, and the Cardinals hope that Marquis, the Game 4 starter, is okay.
That is always a problem when you put a starting pitcher in to pinch run. Jason Marquis, scheduled to go in Game 4, was the pinch runner for Mike Matheny. He stumbles right before he gets to second base. He appears to be all right. Keep in mind, he wasn't loose, but he's okay.
And now, because Cedeno reaches, the Cardinal lineup turns over. Renteria and Walker coming up, and Keith Folk, who was sensational in the ALCS, comes in. The tying runs are on here in the 8th. Once his teammates realized that he was not injured and okay, after this adventure going from first to second on the part of Jason Marquis, his teammates were chuckling over in the dugout.
Jason on the treadmill to nowhere.
But he's all right. He's the lead runner at second. Cedeno is the trail runner at first. The tying runs are on, and Keith Folk, who was the MVP of this very good bullpen in the ALCS, is in the game. Edgar Renteria first to face him. First World Series appearance for Keith Folk. He has been lights out his last 11 games. Misses high with ball 1. Last 11 games, Folk has not allowed a run.
And only 5 hits.
And he's not the kind of closer that comes in throwing 97 miles an hour.
No, far from it. A good changeup and a high fastball, so he's not a guy who throws a lot of double play balls.
On the outside corner, a ball and a strike.
That's a terrible play. If Renteria is thinking about bunting, with the tying run on at first base, terrible play. If he wasn't thinking about bunting, why'd he look like he was bunting?
1 ball, 1 strike. Strike 2.
See, that's the thing. You even the count by acting like you're bunting, and now you're swinging a bad ball. Best chance for Edgar Renteria is to hit an extra base hit, or to get an extra base hit, to score the runner who can run from first base in Roger Cedeno.
Renteria fouls it off to the right, and that will get out of play. Back-to-back hits, Matheny and then Cedeno. Marquis running for Matheny. Cedeno can run. He's at first. 9-7 Boston, top of the 8th inning. Game 1, the World Series. 2-2. Folk went 6 innings over 3 days. Games 4, 5, and 6 through 100 pitches over those 3 games. Here comes a 2-2 pitch. Renteria grounds a base hit into left field. Marquis will come to the plate after initially stopping to throw home, safe, and it's a 1-run game.
How in the world did Veritek ever hold on to the ball? Terry Francona out to argue. It looked like he had the plate blocked. Marquis had stopped at third base, and then by the time he resumed his path home, he runs right smack in the middle of Jason Veritek. Watch Marquis rounding third, given a stop sign by Jose Oquendo, the third base coach. Boy, that was very, very close. Great play by Veritek. But a good call by home plate umpire Ed Montague. Looked like the foot was in there.
So now Folk has to deal with Larry Walker, who's 4 for 4. 2 on, 1 out. Strike 1. The only 5-hit game, Paul Molitor back in 1982 in World Series play. Renteria delivers the hit, no RBI. They've given Ramirez an error on the play. 2 on, 1 out. Walker. 1 ball, 1 strike. Second error this postseason for Manny Ramirez. A 1-1 pitch to Larry Walker. On deck is Pujols. So the protection in each lineup comes in this number 2 spot. Larry Walker up on the count even with his 4 hits, with Albert Pujols waiting to hit next. Folk has to come right after him, and Walker went after the changeup. 2-2.
That's the thing about Keith Folk. He can throw the off-speed pitch in fastball counts as good as any short reliever in the game.
Larry Walker into shallow left field. Ramirez coming on. Canning to play. Cedeno will go to third and come around and score. Over to third is Renteria. And it's second and third, only 1 out, as Manny Ramirez has made back-to-back mistakes in left. Another error on back-to-back plays in left field by Manny Ramirez, who the last half inning was celebrating a go-ahead hit, and he just flat out boxed it, sliding into his right.
Yeah, this is a major league error right here. Manny Ramirez, ball hit the back of the glove as he tried to slide to make the play. A lot of left fielders do that. A lot of outfielders do that. Cedeno broke toward third, broke back to second, and now scores rather easily. The second consecutive error for Manny Ramirez, and now they'll walk Pujols.
This will load the bases. It's a tie game, 9-9. Pujols will go down to first, and it will be Scott Rowland at the plate. There is a mismatch defensively between these two clubs, even though the Red Sox made only the one error in the ALCS. And Manny Ramirez, his play in left field, has killed the Red Sox. It hits the back of his glove. And Ramirez defense here in the 8th inning has crushed the Red Sox as 2 runs have scored. The bases are loaded, still only 1 out. And the Cardinals have come back yet again. Rowland now, bases loaded, 1 out. And a pop-up. Big out for Folk. Infield fly rule in effect, 2 outs. First 10 games of this postseason, only 2 errors total, 4 tonight for the Red Sox. And Ramirez has a couple of them. Here's Edmonds. Julian Tavares getting loose. Out in the St. Louis bullpen. The Red Sox have their closer in the game, trying now to keep it tied, 9-9. Bases loaded, 2 out. Edmonds. Ball 1. A 1-0. Edmonds trying to launch one. 1 ball, 1 strike. Edmonds and Folk battling. Cardinals have never led in this game. On the inside corner, strike 2.
Good fastball following the changeup. Shreds the inside corner.
8th man to bat in the inning. Folk has Edmonds set up. Got him on the inside corner. The inning is over. The Cardinals leave the bases loaded. They're helped to 2 runs, 2 errors by Ramirez in left. The World Series on Fox is brought to you by Dodge. You can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horns. Dodge. By New Lasta. Ask your doctor how you can be ready with New Lasta. And by Walt Disney Pictures' National Treasure. Coming to theaters everywhere November 19th. Jim Edmonds feeling as if he was robbed of at least 1 more swing in the top of this 8th, as this pitch from Folk was called by Eddie Montague, the home plate umpire, for strike 3. And the Cardinals had a chance with the bases loaded, 1 out, didn't do any more damage. And that's how the inning ended. And Manny Ramirez, who had his spike catch out in the grass in left, committed 2 errors in the top of this 8th inning, as the Cardinals have tied at 9-9. Watches Julian Tavares take over on the mound. Couple of defensive changes. Yadier Molina is his catcher. And Roger Cedeno takes over in left. The irony of it is, as you look at Cedeno, So Taguchi started this game because of his defensive abilities in playing the tough left field here at Fenway. The pendulum has swung the opposite way now with Cedeno, who struggles in the outfield, staying in the game, batting in the number 9 spot in left. As Miller takes ball 2, 2-0.
Cardinals trailing by 2 runs, needed offense. Cedeno delivered with a key hit to right field and ended up scoring the tying run for St. Louis.
A strike, it's 2-1. Julian Tavares, who gave up a home run to Carlos Beltran in Houston in Game 4 of that NLCS, went berserk in the dugout after giving up the home run. That's strike 2. And after throwing stuff all around, started punching a phone and broke bones in his left hand. Miller grounds to the right side for Marlon Anderson. 1 out. Here is the Julian Tavares experience in Game 4. And then in Game 7, dealing with Lance Berkman, that ended the top of the 8th. That ball hit him, obviously, in his glove hand, and he got a little chip coming off one of those fractures. And his hand will be in a cast for 8 weeks at the end of the World Series. With 1 out and nobody on, here's Veritek. Ball 1. Chris?
Yeah, Joe, Julian Tavares told me before the game that pitching in that Game 7 of the NLCS, when he was trying to field the ball, it moved the bone over in his hand, so he needed additional shots. 2 shots on the top and 2 below on the hand, so he could be able to work tonight. And he said his father, who's watching down in Miami, who doesn't speak English, did tell him, take your anger out on the batter. And Tony La Russa may have had the best line after the outburst, and then after Tavares pitched well, he said, I guess even Sinatra has to clear his throat once in a while.
1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, nobody on. Veritek rounds to the left side. Renteria can't make the play. Shaded up the middle, couldn't make the play to his right. And Veritek is on with 1 out here in the bottom of the 8th.
Yeah, when an infielder goes to his right and the ball hits the heel of the glove, then you're finished.
Right off the heel and down, and we're waiting on the official score to say hit or error. And it's an error on Renteria. For the Cardinals, that is their 2nd error in as many postseason games. Edmonds made a throwing error in Game 7 of the NLCS, and those are their only 2 miscues of the postseason. 1 on, 1 out for Belhorn. Strike 1. Whoever loses this Game 1 is going to be able to look back at a game filled with opportunities to either take a lead or add on to the lead. It's 9-9. The Cardinals have never led. The Red Sox at one point led 7-2 after 3 innings. It's now 9-9 in the 8th.
Red Sox have stranded 12. The Cardinals have stranded 8.
A 4-error night for the Red Sox. 1 on, 1 out, no balls, 1 strike. Belhorn hits it down the right field line. That ball is hooking foul. And once that got down the line, that hit a wall of wind that just grabbed it, stopped it, and looked like it almost pushed it back and well out of play. Oh, and 2 the count on Belhorn. Ball 1. On deck is Johnny Damon, who's had a nice night with the bat. Into right field again, down the line, near the pole, home run, Belhorn. A 2-run shot, and it's 11-9 Boston in game 1. Damon takes ball 1.
That home run was a replica of a ball hit by Mark Belhorn in Game 7 of the ALCS against Tom Gordon.
Damon pops it into shallow left. Renteria out. 2 out. Let's go back to Game 7 at Yankee Stadium. That made it 9-3. This one with much more significance. Off the fencing along the foul pole down the right field line to put Boston back on top 11-9.
I don't think the Red Sox thought that ball was out, judging from the wind on the foul ball hit before the home run.
With 2 out, Cabrera takes the ball up and in. The 1-0 pitch, Cabrera. 1 ball, 1 strike. St. Louis in the 9th inning. We'll have Sanders, Anderson, and Molina. With 2 out, Cabrera, strike 2. Papa Jack, Ron Jackson, the hitting coach for the Red Sox. His reaction. Lynn Jones, the first base coach. Ron Jackson in the background. And a 2-run Red Sox lead again. Here's a 1-2 to Cabrera. Rolling. Inning over. A 1-out error by Veritek. And a 2-run shot by Belhorn. 9th inning, game 1, 11-9 Red Sox. Julian Tavares just came back and sat down in the Cardinal dugout after giving up the 2-run home run to Belhorn. It's 11-9, Boston on top, 9th inning, strike 1 to Sanders. Pokey Reese takes over at second base for Belhorn. Belhorn has been on base 4 times tonight, out of the number 9 spot. Sanders out in front of the changeup, 0-2. Folk would be the winner, Tavares the loser, unless the Cardinals rally here in the 9th inning. Sanders looking for his first hit of the night. The Polar Express play of the game is the home run in the bottom of the 8th. Off the bat of Mark Belhorn. Boston 2 outs away from taking game 1. Marlon Anderson strike 1. Cardinals had their chance last inning. Back-to-back errors on plays by Manny Ramirez in left. It tied it. Had the bases loaded, 1 out. Roland popped up. Edmonds struck out looking. 1 ball, 1 strike on Anderson with Yadier Molina on deck. Anderson 0 for 1 since taking over for the injured Tony Womack. Hit in the left collarbone area on a bad hop ground ball to his left. Strike 2. Your late local news will be next, except for those of you on the West Coast. For those of you watching in the Boston area, Fox 25 News will have an expanded edition immediately after the game, as well as KTVI Channel 2 in St. Louis. 2-2 on Anderson. That's ball 3. The Red Sox trying to win a game in which their starter went only 3 2/3. They committed 4 errors defensively. But to this point, they have outlasted Tony La Russa's Cardinals. It's 11-9. Anderson trying to get it started. Off the end of the bat, still a full count.
Shows you what kind of confidence Keith Folk has in a changeup. When you're ahead by 2 runs in the 9th inning, and you can throw the changeup on a 3-2 count, that means you can get it over as well as a fastball.
Anderson down the left field line. That ball is fair. Anderson with a double here with 1 out in the 9th inning, and the Cardinals not going away quietly with Yadier Molina coming up.
Anderson very good at bat. Jam just slices it down the left field line, and he's on second. So now the Cardinals have the potential tying run at the plate.
And it's their young catcher in his rookie season, Yadier Molina. Cardinals pinch ran for Matheny last inning. Strike 1 on Molina. 2 big league home runs for Molina. Runner at second, 1 out, no balls, 1 strike. Molina sticks the bat out and hits it foul down the right field line, 0-2. One out double by Marlon Anderson. And an 0-2 count on Yadier Molina, 1 out. Minkiewicz, 2 out. And Roger Cedeno, who's 1 for 1 tonight, steps in. Three home runs during the regular season for Cedeno. Strike one.
Looks like Cedeno has moved up in the box a little bit to protect against the changeup from Keith Folk. A lot of times a catcher can watch the feet of the hitter and call pitches.
The Red Sox 1 strike away from taking game 1.
2 fastballs to Cedeno, and it does look like Roger had moved up a little bit on Keith Folk. A lot of hitters will do that, again, to protect against the changeup.
Changeup, Cedeno strikes out, and the Red Sox win it 11-9. We came on the air talking about the potential of seeing a lot of offense and wondering which bullpen would latch onto a lead, hang on to the lead, and finish it. And it's Keith Folk, so valuable in the ALCS, getting the victory here in game 1. Belhorn with the 2-run homer, and here's how it ended. 2 fastballs and a changeup.
Red Sox fans getting used to superb performances by Keith Folk.
Celebrating here at Fenway Park in Boston. Tavares just sitting and thinking. And a final of 11-9. Boston winning game 1. World Series fact, the game 1 winner has won the World Series 60% of the time in 13 of the last 16. We welcome you to the Bank of America postgame show. And let's check in with Chris Myers.
Down on the field, Joe, fans cheering with Keith Folk and also Mark Belhorn. Thanks both for hanging around. First, Mark, talk about the game-winning home run.
I don't know. It was it was a battle up there. He threw a couple good pitches inside, and I hit the one pretty good, but the wind's kind of blowing, and it blew it foul. And the last pitch was a slider, and I just put a good swing on it.
Third straight game here with a home run in the postseason. You're rather calm and relaxed. You just won game 1 of the World Series here at Fenway.
Yeah, no, it's a nice feeling. Struggled a little bit early in the playoffs, and started feeling a lot better in the last 2 games in New York, and I was just hoping it'd carry through here.
All right, congratulations again. All right, and Keith, after what happened in the 8th inning, tough for Manny Ramirez. It looked like it slipped away. Obviously, he came through for you.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's that's why you play the game. It's those are tough breaks, but it's a challenge. But you know what? We've been dealt with. We've had to deal with challenges all year, and it's just another challenge that we've overcome right there.
What was going through your mind when it looked like you guys had a 5-run lead early in the game? Looked like it might be easy. They battle back. You don't know what's going to happen, and then you're out there. The lead slips away, and then you're out there trying to save it, even with the tying run at the plate.
It's the same mindset all the time. I never shut it down mentally till the game's over. You go out there, you got to do your job. 2 best teams in baseball, it's never going to be easy.
How critical to take game 1?
It's big. It's a hell of a lot better than being down 0-3.
All right, thanks, Keith. Thank you. All right, appreciate it. Joe, back up to you.
All right, Chris, thank you. And thanks to those 2 guys for sticking around. The Bank of America postgame show will continue. There's the biggest swing of the night. The 2-run home run by Belhorn in the 8th. The Red Sox win game 1. And our